I would never drop the ball, I know I make it look easy. Yeah. Mayweather with the defense. I don't care what a critic gotta say, I got them picking up the pieces. That to me, you really playing with your life, I'm about to come and run it all back. I'm the new era, about to snap back. You ain't fitting for it, cause you all cap like. Hold up, I shoot my shot, wait, hold up. I'm really about to run this go up. You know it's all net when it go up. Ain't got no other plans, you don't need to understand. Ay, we on overtime, you don't need to understand. Ay, you just show them how to do it when you don't know what to say. Tell me how you plan to win if you plan to play the same. Moving fast, already gone, yeah, but you bringing me back. Try to double cross me, dog, just let me relax. Stop assuming what we doing. Keep it moving, what we doing. Cause it can get dangerous. Cause it can get dangerous. Cause it can get dangerous. Hey, please don't play no games with me, I promise I'm too much. Hey, I can never let up even if you had enough. Hey, this ain't for the faint of heart, we always playing rough. I had enough, it ain't luck. I needed a vision, I needed ambition, I needed a mission to beat a submission with no intermission. I see the collision, the crash in the distance, they coming off track, no. Now when they ask what's the motive, don't talk about the show. They all about to see what I mean in the moment. I gotta keep going, I'm shaking the dice and they're keeping it rolling, they already know. Ain't got no other plans, you don't need to understand. Ay, we on overtime, you don't need to understand. Ay, you just show them how to do it when you don't know what to say. Tell me how you plan to win if you plan to play it safe. Moving fast, already gone, but you bringing me back. Try to double cross me, dog, just let me relax. Stop assuming what we doing. Keep it moving, what we doing. Cause it can get dangerous. Cause it can get dangerous. Cause it can get dangerous. Yeah, gotta aim for the top like. Hold up, yeah, I can never doubt myself, I know better. All of you critics be acting like you know better. Blowing the smoke, but I know when the dust settles. That I'm in my element, it's elegant that it's level to the pain. All of those dark nights I got then, breaking my back to make it out, got me feeling like pain. I ain't never need your help, I know you wishing me well. A penny for your thoughts, but seeing no change. I snap for the sun like Diddy, the riches got a mad ass son, I'm like Billy. I ain't never switch up, whole team with me, but known for my city like OAGZ. Set the pace as long as you finish, consumers find a way inside your business. Babylon, they try to dabble in it and they hate the fact that they may have to witness. You tryna aim for the top like this and you're in your element with a fire like this. And they hoping you fall and they praying you miss, but it's all in the risk. I got you with the switch, you know. I'm in the zone, give me the throne. One shot, that's all that you got. That's all that I know. Foot on the gas, 155 on the road. You could be a friend of me, an enemy. Keep that same old energy, cause I know I'm in my element, ooh, yeah. I'm in my element, ooh, yeah. I'm in my element, I'm in my element, ooh, yeah. I'm in my element, ooh, yeah. I'm in my element, ooh, yeah. Keep that same energy. I'm in my element, ooh, yeah. I'm in my element, flow is like water. I'm forced through the fire, I'm feeling like gold. Gotta stay grounded, stay down to earth, following God and you grinding, you do as you told. I don't work to make you like me, but I'm front and center, word to Spike Lee. And God came in the nick of time. They think I'm crazy, well I might be. Let's run it up, run it up, run it up. We beating the odds just to sum it up. You know it's a rap, never waistlines, and I'm cutting the weight like a tummy tuck. That mean I'm about to give it out right now. You see what's coming down the line, I never pipe down. I give 100% and be trying to stun on my enemies. In my element, as crazy as that might sound. I'm in the zone, give me the throne. One shot, that's all that you got. That's all that I know. Foot on the gas, 155 on the road. You could be a friend of me, an enemy. Keep that same old energy, cause I know I'm in my element, ooh, yeah. I'm in my element, ooh, yeah. I'm in my element, I'm in my element, ooh, yeah. I'm in my element, ooh, yeah. I'm in my element, ooh, yeah. Keep that same energy. I'm in my element. Never switch up, never switch up, never switch up, never switch up. Never switch up, never switch up, never switch up. Keep that same energy. I'm in my element.
Yeah. What up, though? What up, though? Everybody in the building, man. We back at it. The Let's Recording Clown and my little opening music, man. That's my opening track, though. What you talking about? You ain't gonna cop the single, baby? You ain't gonna cop the single. Shout out to everybody in the building. Shout out to everybody in the building. It's Thursday. It is fight week. It is fight week. You know what I'm saying? There's always something going on in a fight game. Guys, I don't want to lie to you. I'm not as excited as I usually am about fight week. You know, shout out to Clarissa Shields, man. I know she's gonna do her thing, you know. And shout out to that undercard. You know, Tito Mercado is gonna be on that undercard. Looking forward to see him do his thing. Troy Isley is going to be on the card as well. But right. Doug, I told you I was sending you some. Oh, no doubt. Deluxe, no doubt, man. Put me on, brother. Put me on, man. Shit, man. I love to get it. I love for the community. You know what I mean? Listen, man. Thank you. For real, man. Sam, thank you, bro. Thank you, brother. Anyway, that being said, shout out to everybody in the building, man. I'm running a little late today, man. I've been so busy lately. I got things going on the other side of this camera, you know what I'm saying? Outside this boxing channel that, you ever just get real busy, just tired of just, it just spreads so thin, man. Legitimately, I'm probably going to pull back a little bit on some of the days I go on for the next couple of weeks. I got some things to handle. Without a doubt, Saturdays will always be there. We'll always cover the fights. And Sundays, I'll probably put on a live. And maybe one day out the week, I'll figure it out. Don't hold me to it now. That's not the point. I just got a lot of things going on right now that that needs my time during the day right now. So it's kind of difficult for me. But of course, I was going to show up and pop off with my community, with my family here, with the ATP Combat Media family. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, right? Let me see. I sent you a YouTube channel on YM Champ. Oh, Deluxe Recordings. Is this Ra Ali? Deluxe, is that you, Ra? I sent you a YouTube channel. My bad. Let me not get caught up. I do remember somebody. If that's you, I didn't recognize the name. Obviously, Deluxe Recordings. Hold on. Let me see here. Yeah, it has to be you. It has to be you. It has to be you. But listen. Back to the topics at hand. We got things to talk about today, obviously, or we wouldn't be doing the show, right? I do want to talk about, you guys see the thumbnail. It looks like the Jack Catterall fight between with Devin Haney is up in the air, not happening. I don't know what's going on. We'll talk about that and what that really means. Guys, you already know on last Tuesday's show, and of course, the long form video that I did put on. Oh, no doubt, Deluxe Recordings, no doubt. Salute, family. Salute. I didn't know that was you, man. Salute. You guys know I've been covering this, and I've been catching a little heat. I think most of the community's been in support of the message I've been sending. Once again, just to double down, right? Just to double down on the idea that I am not saying Devin Haney is an overpriced fighter, right? He's earned his right to, you're worth what you negotiate, right? And his father has done a great job at moving him through the space. You know what I'm saying? Multiple division world champion, former undisputed lineal champion. I mean, he's done it all. His resume is beautiful. If Devin Haney was to retire today, there's a good argument for him to go into the Hall of Fame just for what he's accomplished in a little bit of time he's been in the game, and just knowing that he has so much more time ahead of him, you already know where he's going. Devin Haney is an exceptional, one of the best fighters of this era, period, right? Pound for pound, all of that, right? But at the end of the day, it's all about making the fights. It's all about making the fights happen, right? This is what we're talking about, man. Shout out to let me post on my little jump off here. You know what I'm saying? You see what it is. It's Clay, make the fights, right? It's make the fights. And in the spirit of that, Devin Haney's had a hard time putting together fights ever since that Brian Norman Jr. fight. And if you really want to get deeper into it and call a spade, it seems like ever since that Brian Norman Jr. fight, the Turkey Al Sheik effect that we all, I think, in this community, most of us in this community, maybe some of us didn't. I got the landscapers are here. If you hear them, I don't know. But most of us in this community, I think, would agree that Devin Haney made a huge comeback on the back end of Turkey Al Sheik, right? Coming into the game, that on the back end of the Ryan Garcia fight, Devin Haney it was kind of getting dark out there for him, right? The last time we saw Devin Haney in the traditional space trying to make a fight, we saw Bob Arum lowball him at $2.42 million for a total purse for him to fight Sandor Martin, right? That's a fact, right? I'm not hating on Devin. I really am not, in the most genuine way. I like Devin Haney. I'm a fan of him. I like to see him box, but we have to speak to the elephant in the room. And over here, we're going to do that, whether it makes you uncomfortable or not. I apologize in advance if that comes off to you as hate to Devin, or if that comes off to you as I'm blaming Devin, or, whatever it is that you got going on in your head. I shouldn't even apologize for it, because what could I do about that? But I can't do more than double down on the fact that this is not about making Devin Haney look one way versus another. This is about speaking to the elephant in the room, which is we have a future Hall of Famer, talented fighter in Devin Haney, unable to find his way back into the squared circle. The conversation should be more so why. I think the easy response is to go down the line of everybody's scared of Devin Haney.
Yeah, listen. That's called motherfucking bars, nigga.
Maybe that's what it is, right? But then again, there are other factors that play in making a fight. We are not new to the game here in the community. We've all been watching boxing for a long time, well before this show, and we understand how the politics of this sport play out when it comes to the business of boxing, which is always the first fight. It's the pre-fight before the real fight, right? It's that business. And if the business can't get ironed out and be made sense, the invested partners, the vested people who have vested interest in the financial success of the business will not pull the trigger. And we'll end up where we are right now, which is talking about fights that are not happening rather than talking about the great fights that are happening, right? So Bill Haney's on a tour right now. He's been on a tour really since for the past 4 or 5 months, it feels like last, 3-4 months. I don't know. I don't have a calendar in front of me to think about the first day that Bill Haney started this campaign of going on social media, going on platforms, YouTube platforms, calling out Shakur, calling out Keyshawn, right? Calling out Rolly Romero. Was he really calling him out? You know what I'm saying? Calling out the Ryan Garcias, you know what I mean? Requesting that these guys all get into position and get in line to be Devin Haney's next opponent. Liam Paro, Jack Catterall, all these names that have been floating around this situation, and we have not been able to see a fight come to fruition out of this. And of course, me being the person who I am, I'll stir the pot a little bit, and I'll say that on the back end of the zone signing, and this, by the way, let's address that as well, because the truth of the matter is, as a community, we know the truth that we have not heard an official announcement of this deal with the zone yet. Right. And I'm not saying that the deal isn't real, right? But I will say that we don't know the actual dynamics. We don't know the business behind that deal and what it really facilitates for Devin Haney in real time. What we do know, though, is since the signing, we've had, you could say 3 fights, if you want to include the Keyshawn Davis fight, right? We've had 3 fights fall through our fingers right now and not come to fruition. Granted, we don't know. Maybe the Liam Paro fight is still on the table being negotiated, but if you listen to Bill Haney, nothing is off the table, as he's gone and offered Keyshawn Davis an additional $1 million on top of whatever he was promised, whether that's the 2.1 million or whether that's the original 3 million offer that was there to make that fight happen. So, if you listen to what Bill is saying, everything is on the table. The business has to get done, ladies and gentlemen. The business has to be done. It is what it is, right? There's no getting around that. So we'll talk about that, right? We'll talk about that. I will open the panel up, and I'm interested in all you guys coming up, speaking. Oh, I'm solo dolo Manolo today. No Angelo today, no Ray Davies, just me and you guys, cooking. So it is what it is, right? The show will go on, right? The show will go on. Also, the Ryan Garcia Conor Ben undercard has been announced as well. Very interesting. We've got home team in the building. This is going to be fighting tonight. Demazian Van Houter will be on that card. Shout out to Demazian Van Houter. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Demazian. The young heavyweight, the young prospect heavyweight is really just been showing and proving, undefeated, doing his thing, and looks like he's going to get an opportunity to show out on the biggest stage, potentially on the biggest stage of 2026, right? Yeah, right. Yeah, maybe the biggest stage of 2026. Ryan Garcia versus Conor Ben. Will that be the biggest show of the year? I mean, we'll see, right? We'll see. But that's a big stage. So shout out to Demonzion Van Hout, who's getting an opportunity to show up and show out on there as well. We've got some other fights announced on there. Obviously, we've all been going back and forth over this whole Jaio Pataya, Noel McKellian drama show that's been going on. That fight will be on the card as well. We got a couple of other fights popping off on that card as well. And of course, in the coming weeks, another week and a half, well, another, let's say, is it 2 weeks? Is it a solid 2 weeks at this point? Today's Thursday. Well, right? Like 2 weeks and some change, right? 2 weeks and some change. We'll be looking at Rolly Romero and Teofimo Lopez. And that's where Jack Catterall will be heading. If you listen to his social media, on top of him pretty much deflating the idea of him getting inside of the ring with Devin Haney, he's also concluded that, listen, I'm going to go ahead and leverage my WBA mandatory position, and I'll be there to see who the winner of that fight is, as that will be in my crosshairs the next fighter that I'll be fighting, because one way or another, we're going to be looking to become champion, right? We'll talk about that a little bit as well. We also have a special guest who should be popping up on the show a little bit later today. I won't say anything. I've learned not to do that in this space. I've learned not to announce too much of the special guest, that unless I really, really know. You know what I mean? Once I get familiar, but, you know, I already got burned one time with that, so I kind of keep it simple. And not to say people been burned. Like one time I got burned. Y'all already know. One time I did get burned. I thought Bill was going to come up here, and that turned out to be a hype show, right? But at the same time, you know, shout out to the Jaleel Hackett, shout out to Dimitri Popovs, shout out to the Julian Rodriguez's, shout out to you know, all the guests that have popped up here, you know what I'm saying, and shown love, Mickey Bay, all those guys who've shown love to the show, you know what I mean? But I don't put them on the thumbnail no more that easily. You know what I'm saying? I just let them pop up where they pop up at. But we should be having a special guest on the show today. Young prospect, you know what I mean? Young prospect, somebody to look at, man, but really impressive on his way into the space. And I'm very interested on, you know, picking out his brain a little bit and seeing, you know, what it is. He's very unique. Little story there with this prospect, right? K Gunner says Brian Gotham should be on the card as well. Yeah, no doubt, man. Brian Gorham, yes. Brian Gorham, yes. That card is going to be a great card. That card is going to be a great card. And guys, we already talked about the main event, actually, and this whole Conor Ben situation and him moving away from 147. I don't know why he communicated that. You know, I know Angelo would just, you know, Angelo is going to be positive about it because he's a fan of Conor Ben. He wants to see Conor Ben succeed. But there are some questions floating around right now around that whole entire fight and that whole entire situation, based off of what Conor Ben said in that interview. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. But we'll talk about whatever, man. Whatever's on the line today. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. Of course, as we're in the building, you're stepping into the building. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Oh, my brother Echo. Yeah. My brother from across the pond, man. My OG, actually, right? From across the pond says, how are you, Clay? Long time we don't talk. Yeah, man. Shout out, man. I'm gonna put the link out there. Echo, if you want to come up, man. Definitely looking forward to hear what you got to say about that. I'm also interested, if you do pop up here, Echo, today, I'd love to talk to you about this whole Philip Ergovich, Moses Atama fight. Another fight that's popping off on the same day as the Teofimo Lopez, Rolly Romero fight. Very interesting situation right there with that fight, man. I'm a big supporter of what Moses Atama is doing and him being the future of the heavyweight division, but there's a little stank on this one here. And obviously, naturally, maybe we should all be a little nervous because this is his biggest showing. This is his first real life. This is for a championship, right? This is a big deal. This is for an IBF title for Philip Ergovich, but for Moses Atama. So yeah, and he's a young guy, right? But Philip Ergovich definitely not rattled, definitely focused, and definitely a very confident Philip Ergovich. And outside of his loss to Daniel Dubois, a fight where he was winning until he lost, right? He's really never lost he's never been dominated, should I say. He lost that fight. Daniel Dubois won that fight, but he's never been dominated or, even looking like he's going to lose so much, right? So Moses Atama is really going to get a lot of credit for this victory or maybe get exposed in a loss. against Philip Ergovich, being that he's had such a hard time getting those opponents in front of him to really show and prove what he can do, especially if this goes into the championship rounds. So this right here, very close to how I felt about Abdullah Mason going into the ring with Sam Noakes. I think a lot of people didn't really understand who Sam Noakes was, but if you did understand who Sam Noakes was before that fight happened, you knew that that was going to be a hard fight for Abdullah Mason. And he did get tested right in front of us, right? He went right into the championship rounds, went all the way to the judges. His first 12-round fight went the full 12 rounds on his first 12-round fight. And, you know, he showed and proved that he got that grit, that he got that appetite for smoke, and became the youngest champion in the space. But this very similar, you know what I'm saying? Moses Atama, who's really just been making short work of all of his opponents, even the guys who we thought would have tested him in a Jermaine Franklin or in a Dillian White, right? Just really made short work of these guys. So now he's jumping right out the pan into the fire against a very motivated Philip Ergovich. So it is what it is, right? And of course, rest in peace to Pritchard Colon. You know what I mean? Rest in peace to Pritchard Colon for sure, man. I don't know what the story is behind what happened as far as him passing, because he was young. I think he's like 33 years old. But we all know Pritchard Colon's story on here. We all understand what happened with him. You know, and once again, you don't play boxing, right? You don't play boxing for a reason. And that's why, you know, although I cooked, you know, and I'm not backpedaling. I cooked Keyshawn Davis, right? But when these fighters start getting into these deeper negotiations about their money and they start talking about their worth, you know, as much as a boxing fan, we get caught up in the, man, come on, man, be great, man, come on. Listen, man, the business got to get done, right? And the business has to be right for them. They have to see it, because at the end of the day, they're the ones putting their lives on the line. They're the ones putting their whole entire, you know what I'm saying, future on the line, physically being confronted with somebody who's literally trying to take your head off your shoulders, who is trying to end you or put you in a position of, you know, unfortunately, a Pritchard Colon. So yeah, they should get their just due. They should negotiate. They should not agree to something. They should not walk into any fight with any regrets, because that could be their very last fight, right? So there should be no regrets in that type of situation. And sometimes as fans, we got to be a little patient. I mean, listen, it is what it is, right? We're going to call it how we see it at times. If we feel like it was a fair offer, or if we, you know, we don't care too much about a fighter's person anyway, their business. We just want to see the fights. But once again, rest in peace, Pritchard Colon. A moment like this where we're giving our condolences to his family, we also remember the fact that boxing is a very dangerous sport. We remember that it's a very dangerous sport, and that these guys are putting their lives on the line for money and for our entertainment, right? But more so for money, right? They're trying to set their families for life. So, you know, rest in peace to Pritchard Colon. Shout out to everybody in the building. As you're stepping in, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Shout out to my guy, Keem Blake in the building, says, peace allowed until serenity exists. Guidance and blessings, Clay and Angelo. No doubt, man. Appreciate you, Keem. Sam from Jersey in the building said, let's go. Let's get ATP. Make the fights. That's what we're talking about. Pristine Sports Network in the building with the double salute. Salute back to my guy, Pristine Networks. Just Do in the building, man. Just, what's up, man? I seen you cooking yesterday, brother. My guy. Just Do, man. Yeah, man. Interesting conversation we're going to have today, man, about that topic. Yeah. Shout out my brother, Ra Ali in the building, better known as Deluxe Recordings, or really better known as Deluxe Recordings and Ra Ali. You know what I'm saying? Says you need a better opening track, Clay. No doubt, man. No doubt, man. Listen, Ra, holla at me on Facebook. We'll touch base, man. Yeah, man. I like what you did. I seen that video, bro. You got some, you're a gifted brother, man. That wordplay nasty, man. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. Sam says, nah, Deluxe, that track. Nah, Deluxe, that track, fire. Let me see here. Jordan Smith in the building, 704 in the building. Is that North Carolina? Jordan Smith, is that North Carolina? Shout out to North Carolina, if I'm correct. 704. My brother live in North Carolina, but he got the same New York area code. But I think 704, maybe no. I could be wrong. Maybe not North Carolina. I don't know. Shout out to Jordan Smith in the building, man. Let me see here. Bro Khalid in the building says Keyshawn versus Brian Norman. Great rumble, slight favorite to Keyshawn. He's a little better defensively, no doubt. And then, you know, we're going to talk about all those things today, man. We're going to talk about Keyshawn Davis and Brian Norman Jr. We're going to talk about Bill Haney on this tour. What is actually happening with Bill Haney? Bill is campaigning for something. He's stirring the pot. He's even bringing up Jerome Boots Ennis at this point, right? He's going all out here looking for the biggest fights for Devin Haney. We got to talk about this DAZN deal, right? And we also got, and listen, we don't know what's going on with the zone deal, but we have to acknowledge some elephants, some. I keep saying the elephant in the room, right? We gotta acknowledge the intangibles here. The zone is also in the process of upping their price for their service, right? For the regular guys. I think the ultimate package is still going to stay the same. Just speaking frankly on it, just to say that business has to be done correctly, right? Clearly the zone is in a place, they're in a chapter, they're in a season right now to where their bottom line is important to them. They're not as, they're not just giving away money like they did maybe 10 years ago, right? Today, the zone is way more focused on turning a profit. We had my brother Agent 0777 come up here. Shout out to my brother Mazo, man. You know what I'm saying? Who came up here and broke down a little bit about the public records on the business dealings of the zone and the fact that they haven't been a profitable company for years. They've been infusing money into this sport. And now all of a sudden, upping the price. And listen, guys, a lot of things, right? Even on the back end of Turkey Al-Sheikh saying there'd be no more charges for pay-per-views, the zone even challenged that and was like, yeah, kind of no, but yeah, but no, right? $45.99, kind of like not paying pay-per-views, but you kind of are. Yeah, we kind of need to charge you something because, please and thank you don't pay these fighters. And the more and more promotional companies that they sign under the umbrella of the zone, the more and more they need to make money, right? Because they have to cover these purses. And if they're going to sign and give a Teofimo Lopez whatever million, I'm hearing rumors was somewhere around 20 million for an 18-month deal. And God knows whatever they offer Devin Haney, and they're probably not going to stop, right? I'm sure a lot of these fighters' contracts are coming to an end. The bigger stars over there under the zone should expect a phone to ring in their home, right? With the zone on the other line, speaking to them about potentially what it's going to take for them to stay at the zone because Zuffa is on the hunt, right? Dana White is out there offering the biggest purses to these fighters. So the David Benavidez is, who may be coming to the end of his contracts. The Ryan Garcia, who's already communicated he's coming to the end of his contract. Who knows, with Virgil Ortiz, how many fights he has left in his contract with Oscar De La Hoya, what he'll be looking to do. If the zone is indeed going to continue investing and giving these network deals to these fighters as partnership promotional deals, then that money has to come from somewhere, right? That money has to come from somewhere. And that being said, they clearly, I would argue, clearly not in position to be overpaying fighters, right? And once again, I can't say it enough. I'm not saying any fighter is overpaid, but what I am saying is that the bottom line is being taken into consideration when these deals are being made, and all fights aren't made equal. We'll talk about it more, but just keep that in your mind. All fights are not created equal. You sign somebody to a multi-million-dollar deal, 20, 30, $40 million, whatever the number may or may not be. All fights are not created equal for that fighter. There's a ROI theme over this whole entire process that we could take into consideration, right? We don't have to, but we could. I do take into consideration. It is what it is. It is what it is, man. Let me see here. Who else is in the building here? Round one, sports talk in the building. Clay, man, LOL, salute. Edwin in the building, man. I'll be putting the link out there if anybody wants to pop up and build with the kid. Chief Kojo in the building says, as much as Keyshawn made a whole ass move, they might as well pay Keyshawn what he wants. The profit margin should greatly outweigh Keyshawn's payday. Yeah. And that's what this is all about, right? And don't forget that we're dealing with a great business mind, somebody who's been in this game from the music side all the way into the boxing space. And we're talking about Jay Prince, of course, somebody who's worked with the biggest star, the biggest money maker ever in the sport in Floyd Mayweather Jr., right? And also the Andre Wards. He understands, and obviously has a great stable of fighters. He understands the business of boxing. And if you want to sleep and say that he's out here making foolish moves, that's a convenient thing to say in this moment when you watch Keyshawn Davis walk away from $3 million. Maybe you feel like, he played himself. But at the end of the day, Keyshawn's more than likely not moving by himself. Jay Prince is involved in this. And what do they understand that we as fans just don't have time to understand, which is the fact that I can get more money. I'm going to get more money. We don't leave no money on the table. These fighters put their lives on the line. They put their lives on the line for this, right? This is prize fighting. And you don't play boxing. So on the back end of saying that, we're looking at Bill Haney right now. We're looking at Team Haney, DHP right now, entertaining a lot of fights. And we watched Bill Haney come back to the table in his own way on social media in an interview with Cameron, offering Keyshawn Davis another $1 million. Why? Why not just walk away from that situation? You already look great because you guys are pushing for the fight. You allowed it to go to purse, but Keyshawn was pushing the issue. You got Coach, what's his name, Dorsett, not looking particularly his best on Mill City right now, defending and, you know, kind of going head to head with Bill Haney. And Bill Haney clearly is winning that part of the game. But why still double back and go for a fight with a Keyshawn Davis, make that fight happen? There's a good chance that there's not that many options out there that checks the boxes for that deal they have with the zone. It's a possibility, right? It's a possibility that they need the biggest fights. That's the pressure that comes into coming into the game as a star, getting a big deal. Every fight isn't created equal, right? Turkey Al-Sheikh, even somebody who some would say has a way deeper pocket than anybody in the game, wasn't interested in every single fight that Devin wanted to be involved in. Wasn't interested in every single fight that Jerron Boots Ennis wanted to get involved in, right? Wasn't interested in every single fight David Benavidez is trying to be involved with, right? He has the fights that make sense for what he's trying to do, whether it's make money, whether it's for notoriety, whether it's for legacy, whatever the reason is, the business has to be done before these guys get inside the ring, period, right? It is what it is. We'll talk about it, though. We'll talk about it, man. Let's see here. Who else in the room here? Baller Man in the building says, Rod Deluxe, straight fire. Yeah, man, he is. He is, man. Rod's fire, man. I didn't know who Deluxe recording was Rod, but he is, man. Devo 9846 in the building says, Devin gonna shake up the world soon. Yeah, as soon as he gets an opportunity to get inside the ring, he won't shake up the world on social media, and he won't shake up the world. Right now, he's shaking up the world on the negotiation table because he's shown and proven over and over again with his father, Bill Haney, that they can get to the bag. But they may be running into a bit of a wall right now because the bag might not just be anywhere they want it. It might be specifically focused on certain areas in the space. This is chess, not checkers, right? It's chess, not checkers. It is what it is, man. The Libra in the building. Salute to my guy, Sagafet. To my guy, the Libra in the building. Salute, man. ETB in the building. Everything boxing in the building. What's good with you? What's good, Keon? What's good, man? The link is going out soon, man. I would love to have you up here to kind of talk about this conversation, man. Keon, if you are in the building, man, that's somebody I would definitely like to, you know what I mean, get at what's going on in between your head, because I know your brain is running crazy right now. I know every day that goes past, you're sitting here going, I know we're this close to one of those videos.
Yeah, listen. That's called motherfucking bars, nigga.
I know.
You know nothing about that.
I know we're this close to one of those videos, Ken. I got a feeling we're very close. I know you're going to wait a little bit longer. You like to make sure your T's are crossed and your I's are dotted, but I feel like you're doing one of these right now. I feel like you're doing one of these right now, and you're watching it close. And yeah, if you want to pop up here and talk a little bit, that'd be what's up, man. That'd be what's up. You know what I mean? That'd be like an exclusive here on the show. Always interested in your take on these things. K Gunn in the building talked about Brian Gorham fighting on that card. 100%, man. Super talented fighter. Ujiman Don in the building says, first time on your channel, just sub. Thank you, Ujiman. Thank you. New sub in the building. Yeah, man. Salute. WP 3636 in the building with the deuces. What's good, man? Kenyo Taylor in the building says, Ryan and Connor fight card announced. 100%. We'll be talking about that. My guy Echo says, I'm great, man. No doubt, Echo, man. I'm putting that link out there, man. In fact, I'll throw it out there right now for everybody, man. It is what it is, man. It's an open panel today. We got conversations to have. You know, I'm gonna do my little spiel, my little monologue, whatever you want to call it. But definitely looking to build with the community today. Mac Majestic in the building says, Connor is going to bust weight on purpose. Let's see if Ron gives him a rehydration clause or even takes the fight. That's going to tell us a lot more about Ryan. Ryan's taking that fight no matter what. The payday, nobody's backing out of this fight, Mac Majestic. The payday is too great for anybody to play those games. They're headlining a card on Mexican Independence Day. No, sir, bro. That fight's happening. If Connor comes in there in that ring, 160 pounds, that fight is happening. If he comes in there and hits that scale, hits 157.8, that fight is happening. I'm telling you right now, there's just too much money, too much notoriety. This is an opportunity for Ryan Garcia to legitimately become or put he may have the strongest argument for the face of boxing, American boxing, if he knocks Conor Benn out on September 12th. He's not walking away from this fight for anything. This is going to be huge for Ryan Garcia. This fight right here on the back end of this fight, the Zone will be talking about $50 to $100 million deals to keep Ryan Garcia. Zuffa will be offering crazy money to keep Ryan Garcia. The whole boxing world, Turkey may give Ryan Garcia a Canelo Alvarez deal where he's like, yo, you just come over here, $200 million. You know what I'm saying? For X amount of fights. You know, he gave Canelo Alvarez $400 million. Ryan Garcia cannot afford not to be in that ring on September 12th. Conor Benn, on the other hand, Conor could afford it more than Ryan because Conor's got a big deal right now for millions of dollars that he's already signed. So, but he doesn't want to blow weight and play around with Dana White's face either, because Dana White is not the kind of guy you want to play those games with. You know, I mean, you could speak to multiple UFC fighters who have tried to play that game, or even just Zuffa fighters who came in, blew weight, and they're not there anymore. He's not going to allow you to embarrass the brand. So I'm expecting both these guys to come in, be professionals at the end of the day, and I'm expecting to see a fight of the year candidate, to be honest with you. I really do believe it's going to be that between Conor Benn and Ryan Garcia. It is what it is, right? Let me see here. Echo says it's a good test. Talking about obviously the Ergovich Moses Atama fight. Yeah, appreciate. Okay, Xavier Navarez in the building. Salute, Xavier. What's good with you, man? Let me see. ETB says you're doing a live tomorrow, Clay. I might do a live tomorrow. I think I might do one tomorrow. I'll be honest with you. Tomorrow's Friday. There's a good chance I'll probably do one tomorrow. There's a good chance of it. Let me see here. Shogun Sleazy in the building. What's good, man? Let me see. YouTube through the 704 in the end. I'm in Texas. Oh, all right, Jordan, no doubt. No doubt. No, yeah, 704 is North Carolina area. Yeah, for sure. Shout out Shogun Sleazy. Mine Yours in the building. Salute to Mine Yours in the building. I got H-Town in the building. What it do, H-Town? Let's see here. Action Replay in the building. What up, though? What's good, Action Replay? WP3636 says, bitch better have my money, Jay Prince. You already know, man. Moon Man in the building says, what's good? Claymore, what's good? Says, I'd say that Benavidez will be fighting Ja in 2027. It's going to happen. I agree with you. I think that comes full circle. I don't subscribe to the idea that David Benavidez is ducking Jai Opetaia. Once again, the business of this sport is diabolical. The politics of this sport is diabolical. And it takes a fighter sometimes to jump into the driver's seat of their career and say, I'm not doing anything else but this thing, and forcing the hand of anybody around him who has vested interest in his career to get in line and play their position to support him executing on the biggest legacy fights of his career. He did it with the David Morrell situation when he was getting ready to fight Jesse Hart. He did it when he went to Riyadh, even after he said he only wanted to fight in Vegas. I think he does it again when it comes to the Ja Opetaia conversation, but the politics of the sport, he has to see above all that. He has to be above all of that influence, and he has to take his career and make the decisions. I'm hearing rumors. I've been hearing rumors about David Benavidez and his contract situation and how he may be coming full circle towards the end of it, whether he's going to renew with the PBC, whether he's going to move on and do his own thing. I have no idea, but these are the moments where you get to kind of dictate the terms about how your career is going to go. Those are the moments where David Benavidez, fighters like David Benavidez, fighters like Ryan Garcia get an opportunity to say, listen, man, you either going to get on board or we're going to move on to the next chapter because I have other options out there. I don't have to play this game with you, right? I don't have to do that. So I'm hoping David Benavidez does that. I'm believing he will do that. And I think at the end of that, when that's all said and done, we can expect to see him in Jai Opetaia. Maybe for an undisputed, right? Maybe for an undisputed cruiserweight conversation. I don't know, right? It is what it is. SOBTV in the building says, salute, Claymore, blessings, brother. Salute. There's the link, ladies and gentlemen. It's right there, by the way, if you want to hit it. I'm not going to pull you up right now, but I'm going to pull you up soon. But I do have a special guest coming in here, too, I think around 4:30. So that part, keep that in mind. Darnell Schaefer in the building says, I'm back. Salute, G. Salute, Darnell. What's good, man, with that WBC title, man? I see you, brother. Robert Cassie in the building says, I'm new here. Just subscribed. Oh, another subscriber. Robert Cassie, what's good with you, man? Echo says, Clay, I got to go now. I'll come back another day when I have more time. Just want to say, keep up the great content. No doubt, man. I appreciate you, Echo. No doubt. Miss B says, wonder how the zone feels about signing T.O. coming off an embarrassing loss. And his fight is 9 days out with zero buzz. Miss B. Listen, man. The more and more we have these conversations, shout out to Miss B. Me, Miss B done gone back and forth. Respect, Queen. Nothing but respect, man. I love our conversations and our dialogue on under the content, man. I love conversations like that with anybody, by the way. As long as it's respectful, I literally do love that. You know what I'm saying? I wish I could answer everybody I'm so busy at times, but I love a good back and forth. I love some good perspective. And I always walk away with some insight, right? Because I'm always interested in what you guys think. And you know, my perspective is never final. I'm not married to any of my positions or married to any of my takes. I'm really sparking conversation and dialogue. I'm sparking thought-provoking conversation. And I love it when you guys, you know, give me the input back on how you feel about things. But I agree with you. You're wondering how the zone feels, but these conversations are really about the zone. That's what my video was about with Devin. That's what you're talking about right now, Ms. Bean. I think as time goes on, we will continue to talk and you'll start to realize that who is in the crosshairs, who's under the magnifying glass right now, we're watching to see what they're going to do is the zone. The zone is the one giving out these network deals, and they're giving out these network deals with contingencies around certain fights being made. These fights, yesterday's price is not today's price. Turki Al-Sheikh has changed the landscape of boxing right now. Fighters are used to getting big purses, and I'm talking about the stars, right? I'm talking about the biggest stars, the guys who are used to that money. You're not going to just bring them back. You know, I would argue Errol Spence Jr. stayed out the game for as long as he did, waiting for the PBC to kind of figure out how they were going to deal with that, right? Because he said to himself, I got paid, you know, $25+ million to fight against Terrence Crawford. I went into that fight with damage, accident. You know what I mean? I needed eye surgery. I wasn't even prepared. I had bruised ribs. You guys heard all the stories. On the back of all of that, isn't it likely that Errol Spence looked at the sport for what it was and said, man, if it's not worth it, I'm not jumping in the ring. My life and my health is on the line here. You know, shout out to Canelo Alvarez, shout out to Gervonta Tank Davis, shout out to all these other stars, but Errol had every right to believe that I'm a star within my own right. Where is my big deal? Where is my deal? Where is my monies? Canelo got $400 million from Turki Al-Sheikh. Gervonta Tank Davis was talking about $240 million with Amazon. I don't think that happened. But regardless, just to say that it seemed like a lot of fighters thought that on the back end of an Amazon deal with the PBC, that the biggest stars would get these deals, these partnership network deals, and that didn't manifest, and a lot of fighters stayed outside the ring. We don't know why Jermell Charlo still isn't inside the ring. It is what it is, right? So, yeah, man, you're looking at the zone, who's getting in the business of giving fighters network deals, exclusive network deals, not partnership deals with promotional companies, but, you know, partnership deals with the promotional company of the fighter. But those deals come with contingencies. There's a reason for the deals, and it's about the biggest fights happening. It's one thing to offer a fighter $20+ million to make the fights, but how much you have to pay their dance partners, because their management understand what's on the table. They understand, yo, that guy got a big ass budget. He's going to have to pay us. He has a huge ass budget. Who? Oh, I'm about to fight Teofimo Lopez. He has a budget. How you know? He just got to deal with somebody. He got guaranteed money and all that. We need to make sure we don't walk in here and play like, you know, no, we're not going to go in there and jump inside the ring with Devin Haney, and he's walking away with $14 million, $10 million, and we're walking away with just $1.5 million, $2 million. We not, you know what I mean? Because as you can tell, Bill offered up $1 million. That's just to show you the room he has to play. He offered up $1 million straight up. And I'm sure if Jay Prince, as far as Jay Prince is concerned, if you got one, you got two. Because I know, right? From Jay Prince, I'm saying. I don't know nothing about no millions. I don't know nothing about no millions, right? But Jay understands. And if Jay understands, then Keyshawn understands, because Jay is Keyshawn's management, right? So if you got one, you got two. You in a position where you need to make the biggest fights. That's what happens. That's what comes with it. The deal is great on the surface level as long as everything goes the way it needs to go. But at the same time, the contingency is big fights, right? Is the zone interested in Devin Haney versus Tiger Johnson, Devin Haney versus Rohan Polanco? Is the zone interested in Jack Catterall? Because they're looking at viewership. They're like, damn, we're going to put you on a pay-per-view paywall structure. Are you going to go and fight on a TNT for free for the world to see? That's another part of the conversation as well. We talked about this on Tuesday. People didn't understand that. Some people push back at the idea that I would say Devin Haney still needs to be built up because he still has not shown and proven to be a fighter whose commercial value justifies the biggest purses. And guys, when we're talking about purses, we're not just talking about Devin Haney's money. We're talking about his opponent's money. That's what the purse is, right? We watched Devin Haney and Keyshawn Davis split a purse. That's a purse. That's a purse. That's not just Devin Haney's money. So Keyshawn's asking for $4 to $5 million. Combine that with what Devin Haney's being guaranteed by the zone. When that final number comes up and then you add fighters on under it, on the undercard, you add production costs, you add on the arena, does that amount to a bag of tea in China? If it doesn't, we might not be as willing to participate in that anymore. We're in our final days, potentially. We've been doing this for a long time. A company that's been out for, I don't know how many years, do the research, I don't know what, 7, 8, 10 years, more or less, give it whatever the number might be, who has not seen profits in all those years and seen big losses in the billions, in the $1 billion range, maybe at this point in the game are looking a little bit more focused on that bottom line. And therefore, the certain fights, it has to be the right fights. It has to be the right fights. It is what it is, man. I know people are going to push. Big boss man in the building says, "Sac passe, Clay. Pose, man. Les, we laid back, chilling, man. You know, we trying to be like you, baby. We trying to be like you, big boss. Salute to you, man. Lance Shepard in the building with the super chat in the building. Yeah. My God, Lance Shepard in the building, man, says, Clay, keep punching. For sure, man. We're going to keep doing that, man. Roger Dat in the building says, salute to my guy. Salute to you, Roger. Roger Dat, no doubt, man. Do the right thing, like Roger Dat says. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it. Hit the like button. Bulbous World Order in the building says, I'm sick of these American divas, man. Listen, the game has changed, and maybe by design. And we'll talk about it. I'm trying to tell you, we're going to talk about it. Maybe by design, right? Maybe by design. Jamel still enjoying that Canelo bag a little bit, but he was kind of screaming at Eddie Hearn to call his phone too at the same damn time, right? He got a big old house with a lot of foreign cars in the driveway, man. I don't know, man. That can every bag. Listen, man, how much did he make in that fight? 10 million? How far does 10 million stretch? He ain't been active in like 3 years. Hasn't fought 154 for like a little over 4 years. Man, Lord child. Akeem, let me see here. Lord Mackin and Cheese, the Dream in the building says, that sounds crazy, bro. If you got one, you got two. Brother, it's called negotiations. I think you thinking that's crazy is crazy, because I could be wrong for sure. But listen, bro, me being crazy, you either just never really done no real business before, or you're just that much of a fanatic of Devin Haney, or you just hating on a take, right? Right? Listen, man, that's how it goes. This is the game. There's millions of dollars being negotiated here. If you can't resonate with that even a little bit to be like, I don't agree with it, but I hope that's not what it is. It's crazy. Okay. Maybe it's crazy. I don't know, man. Shout out to my guy, Donnie956 in the building. I know, man. Craig Richards versus Hot Rod is going to be fire 100%. We had some announcements of some fights today for Zuffa that came out today on social media, one of them being Craig Richards and Hot Rod, man. That fight is going to be crazy, man. Craig Richards, last time I saw Craig Richards fight, I believe it was against Willie Hutchinson, but I could be wrong. Willie Hutchins. I could be wrong, man. That might have been the last time I seen him fight. But we Hot Rod coming off that victory over Alexander Voznik, an upset victory, knockout. Crazy, right? That fight is going to be very interesting, man. I wonder if anything will be on the line for that, man. Wiz RN OTK in the building says, hit the like, salute to the Rain Man, no doubt. My brother T Severe in the building says, Lev Blafnik is worth $30 billion. Those type of guys don't usually lose money for long periods of time unless it's by design and part of some longer term strategy. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure he's not suffering, but at some point or another, the strategy, the ends have to, the means have to the ends have to justify the means. Is that how it goes? The ends have to justify the means. And are we there? Is the zone in that chapter right now? They're raising prices on memberships. The ultimate package, they're making you commit to a year of $45.99 a month, a year of that. Why? That's something that's a business move right there. That's not for fun. That's not like, like Pro Box right now. Pro Box is charging $5 right now for you to be a member to watch their fights. I paid my $5. I paid it. Is it crazy? No. But it's time for us to recoup a little bit here. It's time for us. We've given you this much for this long. We want to start, get y'all, hey man, participate in the process. We want participation from you guys. We've shown and proven what we are willing to do, what we're interested in doing. We want to see you guys see the best fights, but we need to start some reciprocation, right? RESPECT. Find out what it means to me. Anyway, it is what it is, right? It is what it is, man. Rajaz has facts, though, Clay. Jamel need to get back in the ring, no doubt, man. King Blake says Clay might be on an island Monday, this one, but this is the second decent undercard Ryan has had. Real boxers card, no doubt, man. Let me see. Lord Macklin says, you think Keyshawn deserves 4 to 5, but Devin still build himself up? Make that make sense. Make that make sense that he's not in the ring. Make that make sense that Rolly Romero went to shit. Xander Zayas never came to fruition. Liam Paro, Keyshawn Davis, Jack Catterall. You know what I'm saying? Make that make sense of why none of these, what's going on with these fights? Lewis Crocker, what's going on? Liam Paro, what's going on? Make that make sense. Make that make sense. While you're sitting here trying to figure out what somebody's worth and not worth and playing that business role, play the other role outside of blaming another fighter and saying the reason Devin ain't fighting is because nobody want to fight him. That could be it. But then there's this other part of this business that you refuse to acknowledge, that we've been watching for years. If you've been watching boxing for any period of time, you understand the business of boxing and the politics of this sport and how it gets in the way of fights, of fighters getting inside the ring. Were you not present for Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence? Did you miss that one? You didn't see that negotiation happen? You didn't see how we almost didn't get that fight? Was Terrence scared of Errol Spence? Hindsight? Was that what it was? Was Terrence just trying to price himself out? Was he scared of Errol? Was that what it was? Yeah. It is what it is. I don't know, man. You might be right, though. I don't know. It is what it is, brother. I don't know. Trill Hill in the building says, I'm late, but RIP to Pritchard Cologne, man. Yeah, man. RIP to Pritchard, man. Shout out to everybody, man. RIP to Pritchard Cologne for sure. Cap Quest says Nick's on the zone, so I'll give it a try. There you go. They're trying to figure it out, man. They're trying to get the subscribers up there, man. Wiz Ren says, I agree with Clay, especially for those prices, man. It is what it is, man. Wiz Ren says, so who's a diva? Because the only one I know that actually took big pay cuts was Dev. Facts. Dev did what he had to do in those moments. When he was confronted with being great and money, he chose being great. Devin's not being scrutinized here. You know what I mean? Stay with me. Don't go nowhere. Stay right here in the channel. And I think at some point or another, you'll get that. It'll come full circle. That, you know what? Clay's not cooking Devin. What Clay is saying, though, is how are these fights going to get put together if the zone can't cover the biggest purse? If the zone's not willing to. I'm not going to say can, because I'm sure that billionaire who owns the zone could do whatever the hell he feels like doing. But if he's not willing to, then how do these fights get made? The big fights. How do they get made? Would the zone be willing to pay Devin Haney? Let's say Devin Haney's guarantee is $7 million a fight. Let's say that's the number. $7 million a fight. Is the zone willing to pay Devin Haney $7 million for him to fight Tiger Johnson? And is Tiger Johnson willing to get paid $500,000 to fight a fighter who's getting $7 million, or is he going to want over $1 million? Do they want Devin Haney to be exclusively a pay-per-view fighter, or are they willing to go ahead and put him on TNT the same way they did Lamont, on the same stage Lamont Roach was on and Abdullah Mason was on? Those fighters who are building themselves up, who I promise you did not get $7 million to be in that ring. I doubt the whole purse of that whole fight between Lamont Roach and William Zepeda was a $7 million purse. No less, one fighter getting $7 million. So it takes the right dance partner. It takes the right dance partner. Is the zone willing to pay what the right dance partner is looking to be paid? On the back end of rumors of Keyshawn Davis fighting Brian Norman Jr. And I'm not backing Keyshawn's play. I hated the way that looked. That man pushed for that fight the way he did. And then, in my personal opinion, priced himself out of that fight. Asking for, in my personal opinion, and listen, take it with a grain of salt because it doesn't matter. But yes, I thought $3 million was a fair offer for Keyshawn Davis to get a life-changing fight on his resume, a signature fight that on the back end of a victory would take him straight through the clouds as far as his boxing conversation is concerned. But it is what it is. It's what he wanted. How bad do you guys want the fight? Not the fans. We all want the fight. The zone. Are they willing to break the bank to make the fight happen? I don't know. It's a negotiation, right? So maybe you don't got to be 6, but would 4.5 do it? Are you guys willing to negotiate with Keyshawn to make the fight happen? You don't got to give him the 6, but are you willing to go higher than 2? You know what I'm saying? Or higher than 3, whatever, right? This is the business, man. This is the business. And unfortunately, no matter how you guys want to paint it, however you guys want to do this, we're boxing fans. And what are we a fan of if boxing is not happening, if the matches aren't happening? So we got to acknowledge it, man. On the back end of this Jack Catterall situation rolling out the way that it did, we got to be able to have these conversations in a mature way at this point. We should be able to have these conversations and not just sit here and be blind and just make our fun, our entertainment playing DuckTales for Keyshawn Davis. Doom, 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 doom. Life is like a... That's cool. It's funny, but that's not what we're here for. We're here for the fights. And if they're not happening at some point or another, we got to get past nobody wants to fight Devin. You know what I'm saying? Some people might not want to fight Devin, but everybody's ducking Devin. Nobody wants to fight Devin. Respect to Devin. I just don't remember him ever being that dangerous, that menacing. This is not Mike Tyson. And Mike Tyson never had a hard time making a fight because everybody knew they were going to get their biggest payday. At some point or another, we can talk about this. It doesn't have to be final and absolute. But at some point or another, we should be comfortable having the conversation without it being you're kicking Devin Haney's back in, or whether or not Devin, I don't know how you guys, once again, I don't call myself knowing what goes on between your ears. You know what I mean? But whatever the story is that constantly has us coming back to this, me defending, I'm not shitting on Devin. Devin is a dog right now. Devin the one trying to make the fights right now, clearly. Devin has never ducked smoke before. I've never seen him do that. The closest you could say to that would be maybe a Ryan Garcia, and I'm not saying that, right? But I'm saying if there was something close to he don't want to fight somebody or whatever, however you want to paint it, it may be a Ryan, right? Which we all know what comes with that and why it's not that he doesn't want to fight Ryan, but he wants it to be under he wants certain boxes checked because he went through something with Ryan. But outside of that, Devin's never ducked any smoke. So there's no smoke for Devin. But there is a concern. There is a concern at this point. There's a concern from me. Clearly not from you guys. I get it. But for me, I'm concerned. What the hell's going on over there? That's all I'm saying. What's going on? Lord child, what's going on over there? Right? Let me see here. Lord Mackin in the building, man, says, we talking millions, though, not thousands. And what about Bob and them? Just have Bill and Dev kick it out there. Purse, who else y'all asking to do that to make a fight? Jerron Boots Ennis did that to become great and become a lineal unified champion at 147. Jerron Boots Ennis almost did that to try to make a unification fight with Brian Norman Jr. Bill Haney offered $1 million to Keyshawn Davis. We didn't ask him to give shit. Let me hit you with my what's my guy's name? God, bro. What is his name? Finesse 2 times. That's his name. Finesse 2 times. That's his name. The rapper. Is that his name from Memphis? Hit you with the Bill offered $1 million extra to make that fight happen. We're not asking Bill to do nothing. He offered. Why? Are you brave enough to ask that question? Why, Bill? Why did you ask Keyshawn? Why did you offer Keyshawn another $1 million? Why is it so quiet in here? It's weird. It's so quiet. It's uncomfortable. Andrew Charles in the building. Salute, 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 salute. You know what I mean? Salute. Salute, Andrew. Let me see here. But shout out to everybody in the building, man. I appreciate all the pushback. I do. I really do. Y'all don't know how I tick. I rock with shit like this. I don't get it. I only get insulted if you're insulting me. You know what I'm saying? I don't get insulted just to be insulted. I love the pushback. It's part of the conversation. Let's have it. Let's have the conversation. Why not? We don't got nothing else to do. Ain't like there's a fight on or nothing.
Yeah, listen. That's called motherfucking
That's all I'm saying.
Nigga.
Ain't like there's a fight on or nothing. We might as well talk about it, right? We might as well talk about it. You know what I mean? Wiz Rand says Errol did what Rolly couldn't, get Crawford his guarantees. Flexing and stepping, my guy. Flexing and stepping in the building. Salute, 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 salute. K Gunner says Keyshawn might move back down. He looked pretty small in the training video he dropped. Yeah. I think Keyshawn stays at 147. I think he campaigns. I think Keyshawn, I do not believe Keyshawn Davis is scared of Devin Haney. I don't think he has any reason to be scared of Devin Haney. You know what I mean? I just don't believe it. I believe that this business is the business. And I think that he understands that at a minimum, him fighting a Liam Paro is very realistic. If he picks up a title, you know what I'm saying, that puts him in a good position. He just wants value from the fight. He understands that the Devin Haney fight is a big fight for a lot of money. And he wants to get that money, right? He feels like this is one of those fights to where he can get his biggest paydays. And yes, it still would be his biggest payday at $3 million, but clearly him and Jay Prince feel like this is a different conversation. So it's not that he doesn't want the Devin Haney fight. He just wants it in a certain way. So maybe his route to that fight is we don't fight next. Now, on top of that, guys, we've talked about Keyshawn Davis's position with his Top Rank contract, that he has a fight or two left on that contract. And Top Rank, the way they work with the titles is if you get a title with them, it extends the contract. Ask Brian Norman Jr., right? This is how it works with a lot of people. A lot of the promoters in the game will put those clauses in these contracts. So Keyshawn's war may not be exclusively with Devin and the Zone, or may also be with Bob Arum, where he's saying, I want my deal before I go and pick up another title. If I'm going into this fight believing I'm going to win, I'm also going into this fight understanding that once I win, that now I'm stuck with you for X amount more years. So I want that deal to make sense. And if Top Rank indeed did offer Keyshawn Davis $3 million in the beginning before the purse bid, and on the back end of the purse bid offered him $2 million, that's a loogie in the eye of Keyshawn Davis. Right? Right in his eye. That's saying, boy, stay in your place. That's a check, right? I'm checking you. I'm coming to buy a car from you. You list it for $3 million. Or, well, I'm selling a car that I have listed for $3 million. No, that I have listed for $5 million. I got to do this the right way. You offer me $3 million. I say, nah, man, I'm going to go to the market and see what I can get. Then you come back to me when I put it on the market and be like, nah, I'm going to give you $2 million. I can go one of two ways. Maybe I'll take the $2 million because I found out it's not even worth the $3 million, even though I wanted $5 million. But if I really do think it was worth $5 million, you playing with me, cuz. You playing with me, man. I said I wanted $5 million. You were offering me $3 million. Now you offer me $2 million. Ugh. Nasty work. And you want me to be in bed with you for the next X amount of years? It can be so many different things moving in the water right now as to what got us where we're at right now. Keep in mind, once again, I don't want to circulating through the space in the wrong way. I was disgusted by the way that negotiation played out. More so on the back end of all of that campaigning Keyshawn was doing with the brick and the Debo. I'm going to hit Debo with the brick. And, you know, that whole Shakur Stevenson element, disgusting, disgusting. I hated the way that played out. But if we're going to have a fair conversation, talk about it, what's getting in the way of this fight happening? It's money. It's not the first time we've seen it. It won't be the last time, right? Winston McFarland in the building says, stop the BS, Clay. Errol and Bud had long, successful careers. Key just got here. Get your money, but don't act like the offer isn't fair. At least negotiate the back end. Yeah. I'm not going to even say it again, right? Because I just read what you put on right now, and I just went on this whole rant about how disgusted I was with that negotiation. So I'm not going to continue to keep going back. Keep going back and forth. Okay, I got a text message here. Hold on a second. Our special guest be here soon. Yeah, I just said that. So I'm not going to go back in the rant, right? I'm trying to have a conversation with you guys and let you guys know that one of our best fighters is not inside the ring. It's going on a year. In another 2 months, it'll be a year, right? September, October, November, 2.5 months. That's crazy. That's not what we want. Having a fair conversation about what's really going on here. It's beyond Keyshawn once again. This is about the zone. This is about the zone and the deal with Devin Haney and their ability to facilitate the biggest fights. Their willingness to do what needs to be done. Turkey was willing to do what needed to be done. When he wanted to make the biggest fight, he put the money up. He said, I'm going to unify the heavyweight division, and he put hundreds of millions of dollars on the table. He said, I'm going to make Terrence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez happen. He put hundreds of millions of dollars on the table, right? I'm going to unify the light heavyweight division. He put millions of dollars on the table, made that happen. He wasn't worried about the profit. He wanted to make the biggest fights. And I'm not saying that the zone needs to be doing what Turkey did. I'm saying that these big fights come at a certain price point. The landscape of boxing has changed on the back end of what Turkey's done. Fighters are asking for premium money. Shakur Stevenson got whatever millions of dollars he got with Zuffa Boxing. I don't know if they plan on making a profit as much as they plan on using him for what they need him for. So they'll pay him all these millions of dollars on the back end of holler at me in 5 years, 3 to 5 years. We're building a brand here, and a fighter like you over here is going to help validate us to a certain point. So it's not about at the end of your fight that night, the numbers come in that we made all this money. It's about something else. The zone may be in a season to where it's about the money. When the zone gave the big deal to Canelo Alvarez back in the day with Eddie Hearn, it wasn't about the profit. When Eddie Hearn was paying Devin Haney those millions and millions of dollars, he was investing in the product of Devin Haney. It wasn't about a profit. It was about investing into this fighter that's coming up, giving him the biggest bags of money so he don't go nowhere else, because we believe we're going to see something down the line with him. That didn't work out. Check out the Eddie Hearn interview where he talks about that. We didn't make the money. We lost money on Devin. When Top Rank was investing into Terrence Crawford, paying him all that money, Bob Arum said I could have bought 5 mansions on the amount of money I lost with Terrence Crawford. Why did they do that? They believed that there was going to be something that came with it on the back end. Is the zone ready to invest in Devin Haney that way? Is the zone interested in Devin Haney in that way? We'll take a loss, but we just believe we're about to blow something up, so we'll overpay for the fights. We'll give him his money, but we'll give Keyshawn 4.5, 5. He don't really deserve it, but that's a big fight. That's a dance partner that can make Devin Haney, our guy, the guy we just gave deal to, make him huge. He knocks out Keyshawn Davis. He gets his big victory. He makes a fight of the year candidate with Keyshawn Davis. We can build on that. Is that how the zone is looking at it? Or are they concerned about profit margins? Are they concerned about commercial value? Are they concerned about answering to stockholders, making it make sense for them? Is that what they're interested in? If they are, and Jay Prince is aware of that, the conversation could be a lot more interesting than just this dude is just pricing himself. He ain't worth no money. I mean, those things are convenient and those points are valid as well. But at the same time, can we get a little bit deeper? Are we allowed to go deeper into the conversation and dive into that rabbit hole a little bit? And are you guys able to hang in that space and understand where I'm going with the conversation? Or is it just about hating on Devin Haney and being unfair to Devin Haney? I'm good with it either way. I'm good with it either way. Hootsel O Pochly. Man, that name is crazy, bro. I mean, I'm trying to figure out if there's a nickname I can give you, but I mean, shout out to you, man. I don't even know if you're a guy, if you're Hootsel O Pochly. Anyway, Haney versus Keyshawn is for the welterweight supremacy in a highly anticipated clash. Nah, it's a fairly new rivalry. Keyshawn hasn't even fought at 147 on the same page as you. I'm right here with you, man. I'm right here with you. Lord Macklin says, let me hire you. I'll pay you what I feel you're worth afterwards, said Al. Yeah, that's what he did say. Everything Box says $3 million was definitely a fair offer, 100%, right, ETB? We held him accountable. Shout out to my guy, Keon, man, because me and Keon were on that same page, and Keon showed up like a G, man. As much as we were supporting Keyshawn Davis when he played that game, no, sir, we weren't going to co-sign that. No, we're not. We're not going to do that. We still got to be out here, right? Right, Keon? We still got to be out here, bro. Man, we ain't doing that. We ain't going out like that. You know what I'm saying? We ain't going out like that. Let me see here. Wizren said, I see what you're saying, Clay. I hear you. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Thank you, man. That's all I'm saying. Roger Dad says Keyshawn need to take $3 million. He crazy if he think he getting $5 million net. They said Terrence Crawford was crazy for thinking he was going to get 50% of the purse against Errol Spence. For your sake, I hope he don't get the $5 million. For your sake, I hope he don't get the $5 million. Because he mess around and get 4.5 to $5 million, baby. His position might age like wine. And we might just need to sit back and just watch this shit play out, because we just watched Bill Haney pivot. Bill Haney just pivoted. For whatever reason. He said, I got another mill for you. What you think Keyshawn did when he heard that? What you think Jay Prince did when he heard that? You know what they did? They did this. That's what they did. That's what they did. I promise you. That's what they did. They said, I can imagine Jay Prince. Player. Call my phone, player. If you're really trying to make the fight, call my phone, player. Hey, man, 2 double gauge shotguns, pimp. 2 double gauge popgun. 2 double gauge shotguns. Only in Texas. I'm dumb. Temporo Bodo in the building says, Key gets paid by Top Rank, not the Zone. Maybe the question should be, what kind of budget is Top Rank getting from the Zone? We don't need to ask that question. We already know what that is. This is on the Zone. This is about the Zone. This ain't about Top Rank. Top Rank already called it. It is what it is. Hey, guys, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to everybody in the building. 125 people in the building. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel, man. I do have a special guest up on here. And honestly, I've been waiting on, I kind of been waiting on bringing him up, because I was kind of waiting to see some things we're going to develop, you know what I mean? But, up and coming prospect, in my opinion. You guys might already know who he is. I don't know, but, no time better than the present, right? Carpe diem, you know what I mean? That's how you got to live today. You never know. He might get big, all of a sudden become a big star on me, and I can't never get his ass up here. So I might as well, let me get him now. When you think about it, right? You ever had those moments? You know what? Let me go ahead and get him. At least I could say I had him on the show. You know what I'm saying? At least I can say, you never know. You never know. Shout out, man. Shout out to everybody in the building. Grab your popcorn. Don't go to the bathroom now. You should have went to the bathroom. I know my monologue was captivating. You know what I'm saying? I get it, but too late. Sit your ass down. Don't get up. We're going to have a good one here. Shout out to my guy, King Cam. Come on. Cameron. And let me say this right. Cameron King James Walker. Can I say? Can you help me with that? What is it? How does it work?
Kamarie King
Kamarie.
Yes, sir.
Kamarie Walker in the building. Salute, family. Salute.
How you doing, fam?
Man, I'm good, man.
Appreciate you having me.
Hey, I see you so hard trying to hold the waves down. Stop it, because I'm bald headed. I can't do it, so I'm in my feelings.
It's all right. By choice, though.
No, it ain't. This ain't about choice. This ain't about choice.
It's all right. My dad just went that way too, so it's okay.
No doubt. We making lemonade out here. You heard? We making lemonade. This is my new waves. This is what I.
Man, it don't even grow over here.
No,
this it.
That's it.
This 26 years of work right here.
Oh no, you ain't even trim it. I know you done trimmed it,
man. Hey,
hey, camera. Wait, say it again. I'm just gonna call you Cam, by the way, but Kamarie.
Kamarie, yeah, you just say Cam.
Kamarie, your father's an interesting person, right? He gave you that name.
Hey man,
that's a creative brother right there. What's this? Is there a story behind that name?
Besides his name being Marcus and my mom's name being Nicole, nah.
Oh, so he just was like, you know what?
I got an idea.
Got it.
Hey, man.
Let me write it on the paper first.
Yeah.
Then I'm gonna tell you what it is. It is what it is. So 26 years old, man. They calling you, what they call you, Mr. 140 or something like that?
Mr. 140, yes, sir.
Mr. 140, man. 6'1", 140 pounds. You know, these tall fighters, the Sebastian Fondoras, the Rafael Espinosas, these fighters who can make it in these weight class divisions and bring all these physical attributes into the ring. It's always an interesting conversation to have about you guys. You know what I'm saying? Because you're comfortably making the weight. You're comfortably making the weight.
Oh, thanks.
Right? And who knows what the future would hold with you. I'm sure, you'll go. Will the name change, by the way? If you go to 147, will become Mr. 147? And so,
of course.
Of course. Okay. But that being said, speak to me a little bit to the audience who may not be familiar with you. You have an interesting story. You actually started your amateur career back in 2016-ish. Was it 2015?
I've been amateur since starting my career 2011. 2011 okay. I started my amateur career, and then I finished my amateur career 76 and 23. 4-time national, 8-time Florida State champion. What else? 2016 Team USA member, formerly number 1 in the country, and then now we pro.
Exactly. But there was a little bit of a gap of time, right? Where you kind of pulled back away a little bit from it and you went to go handle other things. And that's why I think that's part of your story that is very interesting, because at 26 years old, some people might be like, well, damn, 26, 7 and 6 knockouts. We're missing a little bit of time here because you just went pro in 2024, right?
Yes, sir. So I took, I think 2018, I started college. So between 2018 to 2024, I was in school. I got my master's degree. So I did my bachelor's and then master's, and I'm done. Pops wanted me to get my doctorate. I was like, listen, I don't have no more school in me. I'm done. I'm cool off school. I don't want to go for another class. I'm done.
And the boxing thing was always something that you understood you were coming back to? Even during school, you understood, I'm getting through this and I'm coming back to this space. This is what I plan on doing, right?
Most definitely. So I was still training every single day I was competing. Every single day I was in the gym. Running, miles, sparring, nothing changed. Same routine.
So you clearly had an aspiration on the back end of deciding to step away from going pro, at least. Were you actively boxing though, amateur wise during that time period, or did you just take a complete break off of the activity inside the ring?
I had a couple of amateur fights while I was still in college, but I started training with Glenn Johnson, so it was always high level work and stuff like that. So we were always competition sparring, things like that, drills. And then I got Joey Scott on my corner now too, which is Deontay Wilder's strength and conditioning coach. So I was always top tier work.
100%. So in this whole 6'1" situation, right? Shout out to Demazian Van Houter. I'm thinking about some other fighters, but Demazian, if you're familiar with his story, he grew out of nowhere, right? He actually started at around 147, 154, and then all of a sudden they just couldn't keep up with him. They weren't buying him shoes no more. He was walking around in clogs, you know what I'm saying? Like, they were like, we're not going to keep doing this with you because we don't know what the hell's going on with you. You know what I'm saying? And he's a heavyweight right now, up and coming, you know what I'm saying, heavyweight right now. How was your journey to 6'1", you know, considering all the time that passed between 2018 and where we are now? How was that?
Honestly, I've been 6'1" probably since like 17, 18, something like that. But I always knew I was gonna get a little taller. Back in, I think, middle school, I was the only like sixth or seventh grader wearing like a size 12. So, you know, the jokes came in. So I pretty much expected, you know, I hope I grow into these things. But, you know, growth spurt hit. So I've been around 6'1" for like past maybe like 7 years. I'm 6'1", yeah.
Right. And the 140 weight limit has been what the campaign has been ever since 2018, 17. Like, have you been staying around there, or did you just come up to 140 recently?
Nah, so when I made Team USA, it was at 138, and that was 2016. So essentially the last 10 years I've been this size. So it just stuck.
Okay. No doubt. Well, listen, man, you're a prospect right now, up and coming prospect, man. I've seen your work. A1, right? I'm watching your work. But at some point or another, it's not, you know, this is kind of like the Bruce Carrington thing with me a little bit, where it's like you're 26, but you're still young in this professional space, right? But how is working with that as far as the time? Does it feel like there's a time constraint a little bit? Does it feel like a little bit like, damn, man, I'm 26, I kind of need to fast track somewhat a little bit? Or how do you guys feel about that?
I was feeling like that at first, and then I kind of had to understand, you know, everybody got their own journey and things like that. And, you know, me being 7-0, and I'm already a WBC prospect of the week and things like that. The first prospect of the week they posted. So, you know, everything is lining up for me. You know, don't want to rush nothing. I'm taking the fights I need to. I just fought Jason Velez, you know, 50, like 53, 54 professional fights and things like that. So, you know, I'm taking the steps necessary. Former IBF world title challenger and things. So, you know, we're just stepping it up like that.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm glad you segued into that, because I was going to say you actually had that. No, that was like your first like signature high level fighter right on your record, where you know it was an opportunity and you showed out. You showed out. You know, and did what you did, for sure, man. You showed and proved that you belong. So on the back end of that, how have things been looking for you as far as what the next stages might be? I understand that this conversation's always happening, right? All around the spaces, all kind of conversations happening. But are we about there where we're ready to kind of jump into this other chapter? Or are we still just kind of, because I also know that you're very independent minded. You know what I mean? You got this management. I know you want to do the promotion. This is a very intelligent man on the show, ladies and gents. It's not the regular guy, right? This is just being honest, right? Like, he's capable of doing so much more, so many options out there for you. So as far as your path into this space, what does that look like for you? And what are you looking for right now as far as this next chapter of your career?
So speaking with my pops and a couple of other managers and things like that, promoters. So we're just trying to find the best fit, a new home for me. You know, whatever makes the most sense. You know, I'm just not going to jump at any dollar amount and things like that. So, you know, everything just has to line up for me. As long as my pop's okay is the deal, you know, it makes sense to me, get my attorney to look at it and everything like that. You know, I'm rocking and rolling. So I say within the next year, I should be at least, I would say I need like a WBC silver or something like that. America's titles, just something like that, just to get my name out there a little bit more. Within the next 3 years, I should be at least, if not a world champion, a serious title contender.
Yeah. I felt like a month or two back, you was kind of creeping a little bit. You had somebody in the crosshairs a little bit, and you started shaking shit up a little bit, stirring shit up on the back of that Kelvin Davis. And all of a sudden it was like, I was like, oh man, he focused. He sees something there. What's the story behind that?
I was just watching the fight, you know, no disrespect to the Davis brothers, you know, I love what they're doing, but, you know, I had to call it how I see it, man. I saw some food out there, so I was just like, it is what it is. But, you know, it's just competition, level of the sport, same thing, how he target Richard Hitchens and all that stuff, how they go at it. So, you know, the same thing, you know, if they do make that, I talked to my brother the other day, so if they do make that B-Norm Keyshawn fight, you know, it's only right he got to put me on there versus Kelvin. So, you know, we line that up like that back home in Atlanta. I love it.
Listen. Yeah, that's right. And you do have that relationship with Brian Norman, with the family and everything like that. So I think that, I didn't even think about that. That'd be a great little situation right there. I don't know what they're doing with Kelvin. Kelvin on his last performance. What'd you think about his last performance? What'd you think about it?
I mean, he got in the ring. He showed heart. Things like that. He didn't quit necessarily. It might have been a rough style for him to come back against. So I'm not gonna just knock his performance all the way around. I don't think it was a A-level performance. I'm pretty sure he'll agree he didn't give an A-level performance. So back to the drawing board. I just wish the young man the best.
Well, look, there's an argument there to say that you ain't got to say it because I thought he lost a fight, right? It is what it is. Shout out to the doctor.
And the thing is, with me, I only watched maybe like the first 3 or 4 rounds, and I was like, yeah, this ain't this. And I kind of like stopped watching, so I don't want to just come out and say, hey, he upright lost this fight because he didn't get my full fight. He didn't get my attention the full fight, so I don't want to disrespect him like that and just say he up front lost. But I've been hearing he lost.
Listen, that's my little opinion. You know what I'm saying, I called the fight, and it was just like I didn't think he won that fight. He didn't get his ass beat or nothing, you know what I mean? Yeah. But I just feel like he just didn't win the fight. That being said, I thought that there's a potential conversation there for we don't need to go to the next level with this guy. You know what I'm saying? That's not what we want to do.
He started calling out. I seen he started calling out Frank Martin since Frank just signed with Top Rank, and I see. But then also seeing Nahir Albright started calling out Frank again too. So we just got to see whatever Top Rank wants to do with him.
I think you and him would be a great fight. I think he could look at it. He could look at it like, well, depending. I mean, he could look at it like in maybe, I don't know if he's with Top Rank or that if he's exclusively with the DB3 promotional banner. I don't know what that story is, but a fight with you guys would be awesome. But I mean, it'd be some risk for him. You're right. It'd be a lot of risk for him because
the risk reward factor. So I know, like, I understand the business aspect of boxing and things like that. So I understand how things work. So he may see it as I'm nobody on his level or something like that. So he may look at it. So if you go in here and lose, get stopped, knocked out, something like that, it's pretty much career over. So low risk. I mean, high risk, low reward for him. Vice versa for me.
Exactly, right. That just changes the whole conversation. So at this point, 7-0, 6 knockouts. Activity, how important is that for you at this point? Like 3-4 times a year at this point? Like,
so honestly, I'm trying what we got playing right now. I got something lined up for October 17th. All goes well, but there we come out clean, good looking, great performance. I'm trying to get right back in the ring November or December, just something like that. In the year, goal was to end the year 10-0. We had some things come up with different contracts and things like that to kind of put things on the back burner. Next year, for sure, I need to fight at least 4 or 5 times next year. Guaranteed, I have to. That's just what I'm putting on myself. So
I agree with you.
I'm already 7-0. I'm ranked top 300 in the world, top 70 in the USA in my weight class. So I'm pretty good, especially being independent. But we just want to kick that up to that last gear, especially we already had talks to the WBC, things like that. So we already got that relationship building. Other sanctioned bodies, we already building those relationships, things like that. So my next fight is an 8-rounder, just so we can start entering those rankings.
I was going to ask you that because your last one was a 6-rounder, and that was your first decision, right? That was your first decision. How'd you feel about you spoke about it, but just kind of like how'd you feel about the performance? I mean, you kind of get used to stopping people. You went the full 6 rounds. I thought it was a great performance.
Honestly,
how did you feel about it?
I was pissed just because, and all hats off to Jason, man. We talked right after the fight. I got his number and things like that. Hats off to him. It was like that went into that fight. First we had to beg the commission to even let us fight, being that he had like 350 some professional rounds. I have like 20. So we kind of had to beg them to let that fight happen. They finally agreed to it. As far as the performance, I give myself a B, just because I could have stopped him in certain little aspects. And I was throwing bombs. I saw his legs give out, things like that. But, he's a veteran. You got 55 professional fights. You know how to survive. And like my dad used to say, it's hard to knock somebody out that don't want to be knocked out. So
yeah, when they focus on now, and plus it's 6 rounds, right? So you got that much time to get it done in. You know what I mean? So it's not the same. I thought the performance was great.
Yeah, he wouldn't go down. He just little veteran tricks and things like that, stuff I got to watch for now. It was good. It was a great learning experience for me. But
Okay. All right. So October 17th, is there a card that's going to be? Is it on like the zone or like how do we see that fight? Do you know?
Ooh, that's a good one. So I'm gonna leave that up to Mr. Marcus Walker, aka
Yeah.
management, because he know the ins and outs of all that. I just show up and look good.
Right. 100%. No, because I would love to call that fight. That's something I do here on Saturdays. I call the fights and watch them if I can, and I call it. But I think you're a big talent, man. I think activity is gonna make a big difference for you. You know, your ability to be active is gonna make a big difference, especially right now. 7 fights into your professional career, you got so much going for you. But I'd like to see you, 4 or 5 times a year.
Yeah, I gotta
really
get out
would.
there in front of the fans more. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%, man. If you guys haven't seen Cam, check him out on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Like and then like, that 6'1", that reach, that's a cheat code almost in the hands of the right fighter,
Yeah,
right?
use it right.
Listen, use the right fighter. You know what I mean? With the right IQ, that's a problem. You know what I mean? And I can see you presenting a lot of issues. Is our campaign to how long before we see ourselves at 147, and what's the ceiling? What do you think it closes out for you? Like where you're kind of like,
honestly, I can see myself probably like 60, probably in my career there. Because I got the height for it, so it's it's nothing just to put on some muscle and things like that. But don't bulk up and just be slow. But it's nothing to slowly put on muscle and things like that. I'll be at 140. Like I told my dad the other day, I at least want 1 belt at 40.
okay,
Whether it be WBC, WBA, IBF, just get 1 belt, and then if I feel like I can still comfortably make the weight, title defense it a couple times, unified, cool. But I'm not gonna be one of those fighters to just win the belt at this one particular weight class and then kill myself trying to make it just to say I'm still champion. That only hurts you in the long run. So I'm smart about it.
Yeah. Yo, you sound just like your dad, man. People might not have heard your dad speak before, but y'all sound, man, you your daddy's son, bro. Like you sound like this, bro. Damn,
hey, man.
Marcus, bro.
I think you get here somewhere.
You probably is. Boy sound like you. I'm a grown man. Let me not be disrespectful. This grown man sound like you. That's crazy, man. You guys favor each other so much, man. But definitely the voice and the whole accent and everything like that. But it is what it is. I don't want to hold you up. But talk to me. Give me social media. Tell everybody what they need to know about you. We're looking for you October 17th, man. Talk to the people.
Oh yeah, so you can find me on Instagram. It's real_King Cam, Mr. 140. Same thing on TikTok and everything like that. Real_King Cam. Yeah, October 17th, we put on the show. We're getting the knockout streak back started and moving on to the next.
Man, we want to get you up here a little bit more often, definitely closer to the fight as well, so we can help promote, do whatever we can do. So I'll be, obviously I'll talk to your father, you know what I'm saying? So we'll make that happen. Yes, I think I'm very interested in how this one turns out. Mr. 140. I'm interested in you at 147, by the way, as well, but we won't even talk about that. That's all. No, but I have interest in the 147 conversation when it comes to you, but I think there's a lot of people moving along with you. And
I was about to say, I'm not gonna lie. I saw 47 because I was talking to somebody earlier today, and I was like, so who's at 140? And I was like, it's really pretty open right now. Honestly, I was like, Shakur got the WBO, I think, Shakur got the WBO. Teofimo up at 47 now. I think Shakur gonna drop back down to 35. Rolly gone, Ryan gone, Dev gone. So I was like, 40 looking pretty.
I mean, it's open. I mean, you got some fights, like you got the UK in there too, right? You got Dalton Smith doing his thing, and you got Gary Antoine Russell, right? The elephant, the boogeyman in the division right now.
What's the guy? He's been on my eyes too. Adam at 40, Adam Azim or something like that.
Oh, Adam, yeah, the UK Adam Azim, 100%.
Yeah, he's nice, but I like that fight. Probably next year and a half, 2 years, I like that fight.
Yeah, but a lot of those guys are going to be moving up eventually at some point or another too. So I just feel like 147 is going to be, like I said, I don't want to jump into that conversation, but I feel like that's where I feel like that's where the
noise will be made at.
That might be the division. That might be the division to where it gets real interesting. Like 140 still, to me, it's like a development division for you. You do your thing and you probably get a title in the division, but the real shine, the glory is going to come at 147. That's where it's going to become interesting.
I can see that.
A lot of these guys who will escape you at 140, I think you're going to see at 147. Let's put it that way.
Oh yeah, I just told bro. I told Bino, I was like, man, just hold it down till I get up there, champ. That's your weight class till I get up there.
Then get about my way, bro.
Yeah,
I don't want to have to do nothing bad to you. Shout out, be normal. I don't want to do nothing bad to you, brother. Get out my way, man. Shout out to you, man. I appreciate you, man. Shout out to Cam Walker in the building, man. King Cam Walker in the building, ladies and gentlemen.
Appreciate you, family.
Appreciate you, family. Appreciate you. Talk to you soon. Yeah, man. Young, upcoming prospect, man. Young and upcoming prospect, Cam Walker in the building, man. Wanted to go ahead and introduce him to the community. You know, he's 7-0, 6 knockouts. I expect him to do special things in the space, and I wanted to get him on here early. I was going to wait, you know, for however long it took, but I'm like, nah, let's introduce him, man, because I think when you guys finally start seeing him cooking, you'll see what I see, and you'll start understanding what I understand about him, man. I think time will Clay's so impatient. No, it's not that. We got stuff to do, man. We got to cover the show, and, you know, shout out to my brother Dimitri Popov in the building, man. I didn't say nothing, Dimitri. I wasn't going to say nothing because I haven't talked to you. I haven't talked to you, Dimitri. It is what it is. Oh, hold on. We got Mo, man. It's not Cam Walker. It's not Cam. Just whatever. Just know it's not Cam. Coach Walker in the building. Coach Walker in the building.
What's up, brother?
Good, Coach? What's good, Coach?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good, doing good. I didn't know if you were going to come up with him or without him. So I was kind of wondering. There was a part of me that was like, look, I guess he's not coming up. I wasn't too sure. I'm like, I guess he's not coming up anymore. What's good with you, man?
Hey, man, I have to let him do his thing, man. Grown man. You know, just let him get out here and do his thing. How you doing?
Man, I appreciate that. Now that I think about it, I appreciate that, man, because you know what? I really appreciate that. Because sometimes the father-son dynamic can become very interesting on you know, we're watching that play out in different ways with different people in the space. So yeah, I appreciate that. Giving us an opportunity to kind of build that one-on-one thing and then come on and speak on it.
I always tell him this is his life, this is his career, this is his choice, you know, and all the moves that are made in this, you know, I'm here to help guide him, help him make good decisions. But everything that he does, we run it by him. It's his decision. I'm just, like I said, I'm just a helper in the world of King Cam and everything that he wants to do, just, you know, to guide him. I'm the type that I appreciate you putting me in contact with Mr. Popoff as well. So
I wasn't even going to say. That's why I see him in the chat, and he's like, "Oh, you're so impatient," because I didn't want to speak out of turn to a certain degree, right? I don't know what's going on, and I didn't want to put Cam on the spot either, and have him having conversations he shouldn't be having. So I was like, let me just close it out and just.
It was a good speaking with him, and great gentleman, man. And like I said, I like his business acumen as far as what he's bringing to the game and things of that sort, his background. And I know he has a long career ahead of him as well in this sport, just by his mindset. You know, he has a different outlook on it. And in that way of having a different outlook, he's already ahead of the game than some of these people that's been around for a while. Because what we're seeing now, a lot of these, you know, managers and promoters now, they're having to pivot. And some of them are having a hard time adjusting to what's going on now because of the cookie cutter ways of boxing, and everybody just kind of like, you know, cut and paste. And now you know, of course, you have Zuffa and things of that sort that are coming in that's changing the game. You know, from everyone from MVP, just the mindset of the like a new wave that's coming through. And I think it's better for the sport. It's better for the fighters overall. And a lot of these managers and promotion companies are having a problem adjusting, pivoting to what's going on now. It's kind of like college with the NIL, you know, all this time you take advantage of certain things all this time. And now you have to pivot and give these people their just due on and change your mindset and how you've always done business. So, you know, that's one thing that I do look at in the sport. Like I said, I love this sport, and, you know, I'm a fan of it just as much as trying to be a part of it. But I'm a fan first. And that's one thing we need to keep in mind, that we protect this sport that we all say we love. So that's first and foremost. But yeah, man, I appreciate that, you know, that alley-oop you threw to us and stuff. And thank you so much, man.
Nah, man, anything I could do, man. I promise, anything I could do. You know, that's nothing. What else? It's nothing. It's nothing. I swear it ain't nothing. But I hope that works out, because like I said to Cam, man, activity, right? That's the big thing. You know, at 26 years old, you know, it's like and I use the Bruce Carrington comparison, right? To say that Bruce came in and took a long time inside of that amateur space. You know, he stayed a little bit longer than I think he should have. You know, Cam did his thing as well. There's a little feedback on. I don't know if it's a volume on your side or okay, good. I don't hear me no more.
Okay,
but you know, but he kind of had to fast track a little bit. Same thing with, let's say, Andy Cruz, right? You know what I'm saying? That's just kind of like some fighters are in their prime at 26, 27. Right. That's right. You know, Devin Haney is 27 years old. You know what I'm saying? Right. So that being said, I would love to see him way more active in whatever situation he gets into, that you guys get into together. I hope that the activity is, well, I'm going to ask you, is that the important thing for you right now? You know, everybody has their thing they want in their career. Like, there's one point where you're like, nah, I'm looking for the biggest fights. If I'm looking for a guy who give me the biggest fights. And then there's another time in your career, like, I'm looking for who's going to keep me super active. I don't even care who it is. I want him in front of that camera, piecing people up as much as possible. And then, so where are you guys at right now in Cam's career, as far as you're concerned? What's important to you guys right now?
That's it, stepping up the activity. So that's what we're gearing toward, and I got some things in work coming up here the next month for him, and we're just gonna just start ramping it up and going from there. So yeah. I think that's the move, Coach. I think the activity is I think the activity. There we go. Good. Hear myself. I don't know if it's if you can. I can hear myself, but I got you though. I'm gonna just do it like this. But that being said, I think the activity is super important, man. And you know, just watching his highlight reels and his fights, I've watched his fights multiple times at this point. I would say at least 2.5 times. You know what I'm saying? I've seen the fights that are available. Yeah, bro. With that height, with those attributes, and he has that acumen. You can see the IQ. You can see how he's delivering it. He's not like, you know, we watched Sebastian Fundora for years stand tall with the reach, but never take advantage of none of the attributes. And we're just watching him now as a champion, showing out and becoming potentially the most dangerous guy, 154, once he was able to jump behind those attributes and be like, hey, bro, I mean, you got that dog in you, but hey, man, why aren't you using that reach? Why aren't you using that height? And as soon as he starts doing that, we see this next chapter in his career. And I just think that Cam comes with those intangibles, right? Yes, sir. He sure does. And that's one thing that I've always taught him. Just be smart, you know, use your advantages of what you have. You know, you can get in there and do some things that you want to do, but when you set the precedent, you set the tone of who you are and what you're here to do, it changes that mindset of a lot of guys that you get in there with. Even in sparring, and some of these guys we get in there with, they understand who he is and what he's capable of doing, no matter what level they're on. That you get in there with him, you understand, like, all right, he's just, you know, he's quick, he's, you know, he's twitchy, he's long, he's fast, he's strong, but he's smart. And he plays that distance game just as well as anyone else in this sport that we've seen, that he knows how to use it. And just not going to get in there and well away at certain things. He's going to take his time. He's going to download that data when he sees certain things. And then once he understands everything that he needs to, then you can kind of step on the gas and do what you want to do. So
Right. So I asked him, so I'm going to ask you, what do you think about the last performance against Mr. Velez? You know what I mean? That was his first. He went the full distance. He graded himself a D. How'd you feel about it?
I gave him a B minus. Velez was smart. You know, like he said, after the fight, he just didn't want to get knocked out. So, you know, he's crafty veteran. You know, you have a gentleman that's in there that's fought some of the guys that he's fought at the level that he's fought, and a lot of ring experience that he knew how to survive. He knew how to pick and choose certain things and what to do, certain shots. And I just told Cam when he came by the corner, I was like, you see the difference in that experience and stuff. You know, he knows how to throw certain shots, and, you know, even if it's a dirty shot, you know, just to get you to back off of him, you know, but it was a learning experience. That's what that fight was about. A learning experience that you see that even with someone on that level, that there's levels to certain things. Like, he knows stuff that you haven't even discovered yet, you know, as far as on, you know, in that ring, that he knows what to do, when to do it, how to do it. He knows how to hide certain things, you know. So he took a lot from that fight, you know, and it wasn't about the knockout. He dominated the fight, but he just took a lot from it as far as you know, just knowing certain things and picking up, all right, okay, this is what this is about. So, but shout out to Velez, man. He was a game opponent, his team and everything. But we appreciate, you know, him even taking that fight and coming over and blessing us, you know, with that fight and his experience. It taught us, you know, it taught Cam a lot.
No doubt, no doubt. And talk to me about this. I wish I would have talked to Cam about this though, but the whole relationship with Glenn Johnson, how that came about. If y'all don't know who Glenn Johnson is, I mean, shout out to anybody who's casual and doesn't know who Glenn Johnson is. But I had problems with Glenn Johnson for years. You know what I'm saying? After he did my boy Roy that way, I didn't really like Glenn for a little while. I think he, you know what I mean? When I seen him pop back up training, I'm like, oh yeah, Glenn, man. Oh, Glenn. Oh, okay, I'm gonna get over that. Let me chill. I don't like nobody doing my fighters like that. You know what I'm saying? but speak to me about that whole relationship, how that even came about. Because how long has he been working with Glenn Johnson?
Pretty much after his freshman year in college. So it's been down there with Glenn, 6 years or so, 6-7 years that he's been around Glenn. And he was introduced to us by coach, strength and conditioning coach Joey Scott, which is Wilder's strength and conditioning coach, which happened to be the track coach at Cam's college. And so that's how we ran into Joey, and Joey introduced us to Glenn. And Glenn's been an integral part as far as, you know, just the mindset. And it's always good to have a pro on your side that, you know, Glenn came from that hard knock, get it out the mud. You know, people talk about getting it out the mud. Glenn got it out of the mud, that grind, that hard work, you know, that go on the road. You know, I don't have the fanfare, but I come in here and I upset, you know, push over the apple cart type
road warrior.
So that, and that's good to have him, you know, in Cam's life, you know, not just in the ring. You know, he teaches them a lot of things. You know, he gives them a lot of life experiences and other things. Cam called him granddad, you know, but he's like, you know, he's like, you know, he learns a lot from him. And like I always I talk to him, you know, we have our own rapport and things of that sort, you know, and it's outside of boxing. You know, we always call it just check on one another. How you doing? How's the family? Things of that sort. So everything, you know, with Glenn, he's like family. Everything is not about boxing, because I know what he brings, you know, to my son as well outside of the ring. So we have a special relationship, a special bond in and out of the ring. But he's been nothing but a blessing to Cam, to my family. And hopefully we bring a lot to his as well.
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. Mr. I am not the best. I'm just the one willing to fight the best. Mr. Glenn Johnson, you know what I'm saying? So that dynamic, so you found the fit, you stayed with him, and that's always a great thing as well, right? You're not jumping around. Cam's gotten to know Glenn, Glenn's gotten to know Cam, and that creation it's culminated to this moment to where it's like, who knows Cam better outside than his daddy? You know what I'm saying? Than Glenn Johnson at this point. So very comfortable moving forward with this team into the contender space at some point.
Yes, we are. Yeah, we are. We're looking forward to that. And like we're just gonna start. Like I said, I'm gonna ramp him up, and looking for some good challenges and things of that sort. But I'm just gonna take him off the leash, man, and just let him get in there. And but a lot of times it's hard to get him matched up, you know, because a lot of guys know him, and some of these guys, like we've asked certain people about fights that are undefeated, that are, you know. And, around his same, I understand the higher ups and things of that sort. They know the risk reward about it. So I get that. But we've asked some guys around, they're coming up in the same range as him and things of that sort. And they're like, no. And they'll just tell you.
So, Coach, how much do you think Cam, where he's at in his career, would benefit off of a system that was exclusively merit-based? You know what I mean? Like, where it wasn't so much focus on the politics, right? Because at 7-0, you're talking about trying to make fights with some of these undefeated fighters. And obviously they have something on the line. They don't want to risk it. They know what Cam is capable of. And like you said, more importantly, probably the people invested in their careers, right? The promoters, their managers, they're more importantly very understanding, like we don't want to do that yet. So that seems to be, is that somewhat of a block right now that you're trying to figure out a way? Would it be easier to kind of remove that block right now and just like, listen, man, get him in front of the next guy? get him in front of the next guy. Isn't that more at 26 years old? Wouldn't that benefit Cam, do you think, a lot more right now in this part of his career?
Yeah, that's what we're saying. That's what I'm saying as far as just like we're just going to just get him in the ring, get him more active and things of that sort. So that's the main focus now. That, you know, like I told him, say that'll come against these guys and things of that sort. You're not gonna have, you know, you're gonna have to end up seeing him at some point, no matter who they are. At some point, you're gonna have to run into him. And like I told him, certain, this game is the politics of this game. You can have a great talent in front of you. Some of these guys do, and you know everybody wants to. If that door is right there to get through that door, everybody wants a piece of him to get in that door. You know. And, you know, so you have to, like I said, we've always been careful about that, who we associate ourselves with, who we're letting on the team and around the team. And some people just want to walk you through that door because, you know, and they have access, but because, you know, I want a piece of you getting through that door. My mindset with Cam, and I always told him, I say, look, just keep winning, and whoever's on the other side of that door will open it. You know, that's just the mindset. You're not going to have anybody walk either because they want the talent. They want the, you know, they understand what it is. So let's just ramp it up, keep winning, and whatever's on the other side of that door is going to open, you know, for you. So, and that's just the mindset we're taking about it. And that's it. Just going to get in here, fight, win, on to the next, and keep it rolling.
Yeah, I agree with you, Coach. I think that's what it's all about. It's about whoever's willing at this point, you know, because we can't play games. We want 3 to 5 times a year, 4 or 5 times a year. We want that more importantly than anything else, right? Like whatever comes on at some point, I'm sure that conversation will become more interesting where it's like, no, we're not fighting you, bro. You're not, come on, stop it. We're looking at this landscape of fighters. We're not, but right now it's just gotta be, man, just you willing? Let's get it in. Let's get it in right now. Coach, you got a call? You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. So as far as the 147 conversation is concerned, you know what I'm saying? Cam spoke on it and said that at 140, he's looking to do some things. He wants to accomplish some goals there. But, you know, at the end of the day, he's been campaigning, it seems like, at 140 for a lion's share of his career. Is that fair to say? That's why y'all call him Mr. 140, right? Right. So how close are we to that conversation of like, you know what? We're 26. We're going to give it until this. And if it doesn't work here, we're going to go to the next conversation. Where are we at with that, as far as that's concerned?
Yeah, we got everything open on that end as far as, you know, of course he has goals and things that he wants to achieve. And, you know, those are his personal goals. And I respect that. But he's also smart about it that, okay, you have a responsibility to yourself and your career. No one else. So he understands that. And, you know, the goals, you can set your goals. And sometimes you can't achieve those goals, not per se because of you, but because of the business acumen of certain things. And if it's smarter to move up to get bigger, you know, just bigger opportunities and things of that sort, better competition, more people willing to fight, then that's what he's going to do. So, you know, but I understand he has his, you know, he has his checklist and things of that sort, but he also understands that, you know, that may not happen, you know, but you can give it your all, you know, and that's all you can do. And at some point in time, you know, we're just going to be smart about it and just go ahead and move on. We fought, you know, some guys that couldn't make the weight that were coming down from 147 and things of that sort. So I think the heaviest Cam fought at like what, 144, 145 or something like that. Yeah. So I mean, he, you know, but he doesn't have it. The thing is, he doesn't have a problem making one. We don't struggle at all to make 140. He's
right.
We at that weight that he can fight that comfortably. He stays in the gym. He stays about 10 pounds within his fight weight all the time.
So he's walking around like 150 inside or a little bit above it, like 151 is 2-ish, but in that range.
In that range all the time because he's always active in the gym. You know, so
is that the professionalism and the diet and the nutrition and everything is just kind of like focused on keeping him around there comfortably? Or so in other words, it's just a matter of him changing the diet up a little bit for him to go do 147, right? It's just a couple of adjustments and he can comfortably do that at 147? Or would it be a reach? If he would go to 147, would it be like, damn, we'll do it if we have to, but we don't want to be doing that because we're not 147 pounders. You know what I mean?
He'd be comfortable at 147, no problem. It's not a reach for him to do it at all. And that's one thing, and I always predicated that even with his amateur career, that I always said we always fought comfortable. So we never, like some people, weight drain and come back and want to hydrate a little bit, but it's hard to do in the amateurs because, you're fighting the same day, your weight, by the time you find out who you're fighting and stuff, you're fighting the same day. But that's one thing that I always put into him, that we always fight at our weight where we're comfortable fighting at. So we don't need to struggle to come down. You're weak, you're drained and certain things. Like, no, fight where you're comfortable, and that's it, So he can do the 147 is not a stretch at all for him.
Right.
Like I said, he's just active. He keeps a good diet. He's a worker. He's a gym rat. He doesn't. He's not a party kid. Even though everybody thinks he's been to Miami, he's had his fun. But down in Miami, and as long as he's been down there, but he doesn't drink, doesn't smoke. He's not a partier. But he just loves the sport. He's dedicated to the sport, and like I told him, this is your life. This is your career, and only you can make it what you want it, really what you want it to be, because it has to be laid out and designed in your head of how you want things to go. I'm just here to back you. I'm here to put you around the best people that I can.
Right.
Things of that sort.
So Coach, I got to ask you, man, the elephant in the room, man. So Cam has a name that you're going to ask every single time, what's the story? Cam says ain't no story, man. Cam said you just got an imagination that's crazy. So you came up with the name. Can you put some perspective on the name? How did we come up with Kamarajai?
It's Kamari. Kamari.
Sorry, Kamari.
It's a Nigerian name. It's Nigerian, and I forgot what the other one is, but it's based off of just strength, loyalty, and dedication. And wrote that name down actually when I was in the Navy, and I wrote that name down, and we just stuck with it. And I just stuck. I said, when I have a child, or if I have a son, that's going to be his name. Actually, it was supposed to be. It was like a Q with Kwa. It's supposed to be Kwa. His mom changed it to the K. So
okay,
but it still had the same meaning. It was Kwamarie, so it was with a Q.
Kumar. All right. So kind of like Kamaru Usman, a little bit. Kamaru Usman, he's a UFC fighter.
Correct.
But so this is an international name. This was something you bumped into in your international escapades, and you liked it, and you kind of knew that it was written like, when I have a son, I'm going to hit him with this name, and he got hit with that. Okay, like I like it.
My youngest one, his name is Anzen, Anzen.
You hooked him up.
Yeah, Anzen.
You know what I'm saying?
We call him Big Zen. He's a big way. We call him Big Zen, but yeah, Anzen Walker.
Is he playing the boxing space at all, or no? He just kind of doing it.
No, he does. He's played basketball, soccer. His first thing was soccer. He's played basketball, baseball. I have been in the gym with Cam. He's been in the gym with Cam. He likes the boxing space. But Cam always tells him, "I fight so you don't have to." So that's the thing. Like the big brother. Yeah. But right now his little brother is 50% his manager. So we started, Cam's in management.
Exactly, that makes sense. Now I was thinking about that. The name,
Cam's in management, and his brother's 50% of his manager right now. So I just wanted to have something that both of them work together on. Whether anything happened, I'm here or not. That the youngest one understands that he still has some great footprints and some footsteps that he can walk in with his brother and things of that sort. So. I make sure that's one of the main reasons of starting that business, and keeping them close and keeping them on the same path as he grows and things of that sort.
No doubt. No. So, Coach, let's segue a little bit into the current boxing space just a little bit, okay? Because we talk sometimes, we go back and forth and talk about the big fights. So, first of all, we're more than halfway through the year. We're in the third quarter, right? Third quarter of the year at this point, getting ready to go into the fourth quarter in a couple of months. As far as fights are concerned this year, what's the standout fight for you this year? And I really should have asked Cam this as well. I wanted to do that as well, but I don't know. For some reason, I was like, let me wait, because I feel like things are developing, and I wanted to wait. I have a feeling, so I just wanted to wait, and I didn't want to dive too deep and put him in a position. But with you, I'll put you underneath the microscope and just because I know you're media trained. I didn't want to put him under that kind of stress. You know what I'm saying? Especially if there's a lot of things happening that he'd rather, you know what I'm saying, wait before he speaks on it freely. But as far as fights are concerned, as far as fights are concerned this year, any standouts for you this year as far as what you've been watching happen in the game right now, as far as fighters or fights are concerned, or fight of the year candidates?
There's a few. I mean, I'm interested in the fight that's coming up right now, the T.O. Rolly fight.
Really?
I'm interested in that fight because it's one of those Paro fights that, you know, a lot of people are dismissing, but whoever wins that fight is going to have something big coming up, you know, in that division. I think whoever wins that fight is going to have something big, because I think there's going to be a big unification bout that comes from this fight, you know. And
with Ryan or with Devin, or
either way. I think either way I think that's going to be the next move for these guys, which still make a great fight. The win of this fight against, I think it'll make a good fight, but I think that unification bout is going to be huge in that.
What do you think? What do you think about Rolly as far as? And I ask anybody who I talk to about Rolly, right? It's always an interesting conversation because, well, let me put it like this: before he did what he did with Ryan Garcia, how did you feel about Rolly Romero? You know what I'm saying? You know, on the back end of the Tank Davis fight, obviously he was somewhat of a star, right? Even on, you know, he was one of those fighters who benefited off of Tank, off of a loss, still was able to take that momentum, and he still became somewhat of a must see. You want to see him fight, but then he had his roller coaster with old man Barroso, you know what I mean? Then he lost to Isak Pitbull Cruz, and you know, where were you on the Rolly Romero conversation in comparison to now as a 147-pound WBA champion? Where were you?
I think Rolly was kind of like a young man that was in transition of not knowing if I'm really going to be dedicated to this, or, you know, as far as the fight game goes, or was it the money and the fame that came along with it, things of that sort. So you were kind of like, you just did on a different level of how we view T.O. You just never knew what you were going to get from him. You know, T.O. was more like, you know, family outside the ring type of thing, you know, dad problems, things, you know, woman problems and things that he was going through that was taking him through. With Rolly, it was kind of like, you really didn't know if he was taking the game that serious, you know, as far as like, you know, of course he had a big social media presence, you know, funny guy, you know, could have you laughing, joking and things like that, but you weren't too sure about how serious he's taking the sport. And I think I just want to give him a shout out on the lifestyle changes that he's made, you know, as far as his walking in faith, you know, the non-drinking and things of that sort. If that's what he needs to make him a better person, a better fighter, then I tip my hat to him on that end for taking those steps to even do that, to understand what he needs to make himself better. I think it has made him more dedicated to the sport, kind of like Fundora. I think the fact is, once Fundora got that belt, you're seeing the transition in him, like he's looking at himself different as a champion. And now his mindset has changed about everything, about how he fights, how he carries himself, even in the media and things of that sort. That it has a lot to do with that championship pedigree that comes along with that. And the same with Rolly. I think it's lifestyle changes, you know, becoming a champion and things of that sort has kind of like made him take things, I can't say, in his mind it might have been serious, I can't say that, but make him look at things totally different, you know. So, you know, I think, but I think, you know, I think he's a good young man. I've had a chance to meet him a few times, speak with him and things, but solid young man. We just didn't know what we were going to get and just how dedicated to the sport he was at a certain point in time in his life. I think right now he is a dedicated fighter. Like even when, you know, the fight against what's that, when he, you know, he looked totally different. He pulled against Ryan. He pulled something off in that fight that we, you know what I'm saying? So I knew right then he fought a certain type of fight. He was disciplined. Everybody say he was wild and stuff, but he fought that fight, and you can tell the difference in him in that fight that, you know, he stuck to the script, and you can tell that they trained him on certain things, and he stuck to it. He never got outside of himself. And I was quite impressed with that, you know, with that fight and that outcome that came out, just to watch the way he fought. That you never thought you'd see Rolly fight like that. So,
facts. I agree with you. I think that I'm still in the air with him, because it's like I feel like 147 version of him, I want to believe, is his best version of himself. Cutting that weight and trying to play that game. That's a game of discipline. And if you're not disciplined and committed, it's gonna show improve in those moments, because you gotta be about this game if you're going to be a 147 pounder campaigning at 135 or campaigning at 140. You know what I mean? There's a when you watch Keyshawn Davis, you know what I'm saying, who's somebody who's kind of, the weight game seems to be maybe an Achilles heel of his. I don't know, you know what I'm saying, where he doesn't really want to commit as much as he needs to commit to compete in these divisions anymore. He did, but it's changed for him a little bit. So that's kind of those things that you kind of worried about. I don't know. This is great talent. I really like Keyshawn Davis, but I need to see him just stick to the script a little bit more for me to really understand what I'm looking at. Rolly looks like he found himself at 147. It looks like he's comfortable. It looks like he likes his trainer in Salas. He's very confident in what his team is able to put together. And I do think that makes this fight interesting with Teo, right? Because it's like this version of Rolly, we know he can be menacing. We know that power is there. We know what he can do on a good day. But if he's found a way to focus his energy to have more consistent good days, then could we see Rolly Romero at 147 be? There's a part of me, and I'm gonna be frank with you, Coach. He ain't a champion to me yet. You know what I'm saying? The way he got the belt, the way that situation happened with Ryan, the way I'm not there yet, but this will take me there. You get this victory against Teofimo Lopez, and I'm looking at Rolly Romero a different way. What about Teo, though, on the back end of the Shakur fight? Going into the Shakur fight, what were you thinking about Teofimo, and what did you feel about him after the fight? So let's start off with going into the fight with Shakur Stevenson with Teofimo. Where were you at in the Teofimo conversation?
I mean, the main thing that I looked at with that, I thought he was in a pretty good headspace. I've been around Teo for a while, ever since the amateurs and things of that sort, down in Florida, and his father. And going into that fight, I thought he was in a pretty good headspace. But then, I saw things with Teo Sr., with Lopez. And I think that changed the game for him. And watching certain things, and sometimes you're not around him and you look on social media, somebody's recording him doing something, and and it's just like, okay. And I think he felt like going into that fight that he wasn't in the best position, to even win this fight against a one of the pound for pound best that they have listed, as with Shakur Stevenson. But I think he was just, I thought, things had, other things outside of the ring had kind of cleared up for him. But I think with his father, that just, and then people knowing certain things and they're speaking on it. When you're up here, you're doing the press and you're doing, and it's not about you, that they're taking jabs at your father and they're taping, and some of the shit is true, and you can't you can't refute it. And so that's like having somebody on your team that's putting you in a position to be taken advantage of. And I can't,
like you're always having to defend them. Like you're out here trying to have your career, but all these conversations keep coming full circle back to this space where you got to defend. Yeah, it could be distracting, to say the least, right, Coach? Very distracting.
I mean, very distracted on that end as far as the fight game goes. But then on the other end, this is my father. Right. This is my father, out of everyone. And pretty much this is the person that I started this journey with, this whole boxing game. I started with this man. So I can see it. It takes a toll. It can be certain things. So I learned from, a lot of things that happen in this sport, and I watch certain things. And, so I also have to keep in mind, even though we're not on that level yet, but I also have to keep in mind who I am to Cam, so I can't be out here wild and acting crazy, just doing stuff. And, yet alone, I know that microscope gets even broader, the bigger it gets in the game and things of that sort. So, people will be looking at me differently. People will be looking at, family members differently and things of that sort.
They'll be trying to weaponize you. If they can catch you being somebody who you don't need to be in that moment, they could use that as the way they use it with Teo, right? To come at Cam like, yo, your dad out here You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know you got a fight coming up with your dad, and if everything becomes about that, it's like, damn, man, you're supposed to be like, I need you to kind of, you know what I mean, not do that.
And sometimes these fighters don't want to, because it is dad, you know, and they don't want to say certain things, you know, because you still have that respect as my father. You still have, but it's also business. This is your life, this is your livelihood. You know, you get to the point like you know, Tio has kids now and things of that sort. So, you know, you got to worry about your legacy and building for your family and things of that sort. So, you know, but they don't want to step on dad's toes. They don't want to. You feel like if you say something, you take a stance. You know, how many times have somebody just like stood up to their father, you know, in their life? That's so I think about things like that, and it's like I've never stood up to him. You know, we got a good relationship, but I have to like put my foot down on my dad. You know,
especially when it comes to the business, like I have to actually kind of be like, I had to show some authority almost. What does that look like for me to be, a person of authority over my father? Like, yo, I need you to get right. I'm gonna have to what? Right? We hope we never have to be. I'm
gonna have to X you out, Pops. I might have to, you know, and you don't want to say it. So. And it's always that respect factor. So my thing, what I do, I do my best to keep that in mind of who I am and who he is, and keep in mind that things that I can do can somewhere along the lines hurt him, his career, you know, his opportunities, and also in fights, you know, because like when I get up and they be talking about your dad and this, and this, and really you can't say nothing because you're like, yeah, I know, you know, record him and I see him over here doing it. It's like, and I pull up the internet and there you are, you know. Like,
passed out somewhere on some bar or something, you know, and you have such a large scale of the father-son dynamic is always such an interesting conversation, particularly in this boxing game. You know what I mean? In this game, you see a lot of father-son dynamics, and you see some we would call very healthy, like Bill and Devin, right? Where Bill always keeps Devin at the, you know, the star, the conversation, the topic of conversation. He's very good at making it about Devin at all times. You know what I'm saying? No matter what he's doing. Then you have some other fathers, unfortunately, like, you know what I mean, like the Tio and the senior issue, where it's just like, don't do that outside. Come on, man. Do that inside at least. Do that in the crib at least. Please, come on, man. You know that they looking at you. Don't do that. You know what I mean? Don't be aware. So yeah, that dynamic is always very interesting to watch play out. And I think with this Tio situation, that being said, with all that being said, Tio seems like he's in a place right now to where this is the end all be all for him. It feels, that's the energy I'm feeling from him, where it's like, it's this or nothing, right? Like if this don't work out, it feels, he's giving me that energy. If somebody like, if I don't do it right now, I might be having some different conversations privately with my team. Are you getting that same feeling from him, where he just feels like?
Yeah. And then also amongst, you know, a lot of these promoters and things of that sort, do you become this type of, you know, we still make a little money off you, but they don't prioritize you like that. You know, they'll start, you know, offering you up to young up and comers and things of that sort. And just like, you know, because it all depends on how he looks this fight. If he's game, if he wins, of course, but if he's game and it's a close fight and he, you know, loses, that's one thing. If you just look like it's not there anymore, yeah. And at that point in time, if he looks bad in this fight, it's out of his hands. It's out of his hands, you know, and whoever deals with him, you're just a marquee name for some up and coming guys and things of that sort, like a sacrificial lamb that, you know, you become like this gatekeeper type of guy. And that's sad to say, but, you know, that's what happens when, you know, you just let things roll on, and in certain things, you know,
you just hope it works out, and you just want to, you just hope it works out. Right. You know, I just hope I can figure it out with him privately to where we don't have to have a public display of what this might end up being, because it's going to be under the microscope. Even right now with the adjustments he's made in his camp, people are wondering, like, you know, he didn't do the ultimate cut you off, but he has made it clear in interviews that he told his father that, you know, this is the last chance almost. Like, you play around this time, I'm going to have to do what I got to do, is business first. That being said, though, as a manager in the space right now, you got your young fighter, your son, Cam Walker, in the space, and you're watching the zone right now move it's like the zone has hit another season in the way they plan on doing boxing, right? And I'm talking specifically about these network deals. They just gave Teo a network deal, and they gave, rumor is, because it still hasn't been announced in an official capacity, that Devin Haney may be also dealing with a network deal. What do you make of that? Why would the zone, do you have any thoughts on that as far as the zone being a platform that's hosting all of the promotional companies now underneath one umbrella, or the lion's share of the promotional companies underneath the umbrella, but now you're giving network deals out to, let's be honest, fighters that are underneath these promotional companies? What do you make of that? Why is the zone doing that? Have you put any thought behind that?
I mean, they're finding out a way to kind of to still get a slice of that pie. You know what I'm saying? It's just money, because if DHP Promotions, they still had to work under, Devin fights on a certain promotion card. Then, of course, he brings his fighters along, a couple guys to fight on that card as well, since he's there. Now with this, he can build his stable. Now I can say I have a place to showcase my fighters. I don't necessarily have to fight on the card, but I have a place to place my guys. So now he's opening up that door to sign more people.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys can be seen. Because, even if he's fighting on a card with, let's say a top ranked card, he's on a top ranked card and he's going to fight, you might be able to bring, one or two of your guys, to make that deal. Like, I want so-and-so on here. That's cool. But now if you have if you have 4 or 5 fighters, he can put on his own show and have it broadcasted on DAZN. But DAZN can still eat off of Devin Haney, that name, without, really having to sign him at any capacity as far as certain things go, because he can go around and fight anywhere and it might not be shown on DAZN. So that's just them figuring out a way to, like I said, to get a slice of that pie. But then it's also good for DHP, Devin Haney, Bill Haney, DHP Promotions to do that, to raise their company up another level. You know what I'm saying? So I can see it's about money. It's about the business acumen. I think it works good on all sides and things of that sort. It's just going to make DHP Promotions grow even larger.
100%. I think it's definitely an opportunity there for the right candidate, right? Because it's about right now, the conversation I'm having with the space right now, if you read the thumbnail, and I've been getting some good feedback, but a lot of pushback. But I don't think people are understanding what it is that I'm putting in the deal underneath the microscope, right? Underneath the magnifying glass for everybody to look at this deal, and let's see how these DAZN deals roll out and what they really do for these fighters. Because I think there's some pressure on the zone right now to deliver, right? I've signed you. I've given you this network deal. I'm sure there were contingencies, right, to this network deal. Like, you come over here. We're going to give you this money. And what the perks is, we're going to be able to deliver X, Y, Z, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. It makes more sense to be here because of what we can do. But it does seem like a bit of an uphill battle when it comes to the Devin Haney conversation as far as the zone's ability to deliver now, right? Like, we're seeing deals kind of fall through a little bit. Like, hold up, man, this is what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to make these deals happen. And it does seem to be, like I said, an uphill thing. Nothing impossible. I'm sure very capable the zone is to deliver these things, but I'm wondering what they're taking into consideration when you allow these deals to fall through. Keyshawn didn't work out. Liam Paro seems like we don't know where it's at. Jack Catterall is talking about he's going to be looking at Rolly and Teo, right? I'm being Vegas. That's what he's talking about, because he feels like y'all playing with me, man. Y'all keep saying, but y'all playing with me. So I'm going to go do what I got to do. So I'm interested in seeing how these things develop. And even for Teofimo Lopez on the back end of whatever this fight looks like, what's the next one going to be? What's going to make sense? Ryan Garcia, he's at the end of his contract. He has one more fight left with Golden Boy. Is the zone going to make a play there? And what is that going to look like? You know what I'm saying? What are you going to offer, Ryan?
That's big money.
That's big money. And on top of that, the paywall, the viewership. Ryan goes over and spends a little time over there with Zuffa, and he's smacking people with guitars in the WWE ring. You know what I'm saying? He's you know, I'm just saying, like, he's got to be loving it over there because he's a social media crackhead, right? He's like, bro, I know what YouTube and what Instagram and what TikTok, I know what these things can do for my career. These guys got me. I'm a character, you know, he's in his bowl, like my wife would say, he's in his bowl of grease. Like, this is my element. This is the environment. This is what I do. What? You know what I mean? So, and they're on a network with Paramount that's offering them a huge viewership on a very low paywall, $8.99 a month. You know what I mean? On top of everything else that Dana's doing, as far as I think 90 territories right now. I don't know how many, a crazy amount of territories that he's on right now with Zuffa, and he's expanding it like they're going crazy over there. They're clearly a company on the rise, just starting, right? But that's how it is in the beginning. And I think you would speak to business being about timing a lot of times, right? Like, maybe Zuffa isn't in the same position 10 years from now, 5 years from now. Maybe everybody looks back at, oh, that was dumb. See, I told you it wasn't going to work out, whatever. This part of the game, right? This is the right time, though. We don't care about 5 years from now. 5 years from now, Ryan Garcia may not be boxing anymore. He could give a damn, care less. Shakur could give a damn and care less. So the zone is kind of in a sensitive space. I like what they're doing with the TNT situation. That's actually working out pretty well, but they're just raising the paywall up now. Now they're charging people more to be the zone members. So I wonder on what they're willing to do and what season the zone is when it comes to DHP. That being said, though, what's your pick, though, as far as that fight? Have you made a pick yet, or are you still kind of on the outside looking? Is it 50-50? Are you leaning one way or another when it comes to the Rolly and Teofimo fight?
It's like a 50-50 fight to me, you know, and I guess, you know, just going to take a look at them. I want to see them weigh in and things of that sort, just how they're looking. That last press conference, you know, because I've learned with Teo, you have to look at Teo, you know, hear him speak, you know. I know when he's locked in, and then I know when he kind of jokes trying to protect certain things. So, and
where do you see him then right now? Is he doing that? Is he protecting, or is he locked in? How do you feel about so far, thus what you've been able to see?
I think he's locked in. I think he's locked in. I think he's always been a lighthearted, you know, young man. So he's always been jovial and things of that sort. So I think, you know, he's building the fight now. He's making his little videos, messing with Rolly, you know, going to the trash can, like Rolly, looking for Rolly in the trash can and stuff. So I think he's back in that element part of it where he's just having fun. You know, he can get out here and dance a little bit and just enjoy himself. You see that. And we're seeing less of Dad.
Yeah, and he's added some. I think he's brought in some help.
Yeah, he brought in some help. You know,
because if Teo has an Achilles anywhere, for me, it's in the corner. He's talented. He has the IQ, but the ability for a fighter to go through adversity and know that when I come back to the corner, my corner is going to be like, here are the adjustments. This is what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
And not believing that, right? Could you imagine if Cam would face some adversity inside the ring and go to his corner like, they ain't gonna have no help for me, bro. That's gotta be a lonely feeling. You know what I'm trying to say? It's like I gotta go back into this round and try to figure it out by myself again.
Now what I did find funny in the Shakur fight, like you said, the adjustments. And him not getting any help, you know, kind of like from the corner to make adjustments. But part of me is like, Teo, you've been in this game long enough that certain shit you're just supposed to know. Certain things you're just supposed to do. I've had some things with Cam, like, you know, hey, I might say something, and then, you know, I'm like, hey, you didn't do. He comes back and say, well, hey, this is what I'm seeing. Because he knows that adjustment. You know, I'm on the outside looking in, but he's right there face to face. Certain angles that I'm like, and so he may come back to me and say, well, no, Pop, I see this. I'm doing this because I didn't do that because he's waiting on so and so. The acumen is there. Sometimes you're the fighter, and sometimes you have to make the adjustment on what you see. I just couldn't believe when he fought that Shakur fight, like naturally your instinct is supposed to kick in that you're supposed to play some type of I don't give a damn what they're telling you or what they're not telling you. You've been around this game, you know this sport. you're just as high as level as Shakur. So you're supposed to be able to like, hey, I remember like who did that? Zab, when Zab fought Matisse.
Right. That was a very
he,
interesting fight.
Yeah, but he was telling him, and he was like, I'm not doing that.
I'm not doing that, right?
I'm not doing. He went in there, he did his thing. I'm not worried about what you said.
He let them just talk, right? I just let them talk because I knew what I was not finna do. I knew I was not.
Exactly.
It is what it is. I'm the one in there. I'm the one. I feel this power. Yeah, we're gonna work it out though.
So that's the thing that scared me in that fight with Tio. I'm like, I can't believe like. And somebody said, well, he's not. His corner's not telling him anything. They shouldn't have to at a certain point.
But okay, so coach, they don't have to tell him what to do, but where's the power? Is that also like where it's like, it's one thing to not be giving me the instruction I need, but it's another thing to also be coming down on me to a certain degree. You know what I'm saying? Like not being, maybe the support mechanism, like the support is not there the way I needed to be there. And even with like the idea of, because I agree with you, I think at a minimum that fight should have been way more competitive. He didn't have to win the fight, right, but it should have been more competitive. And I think Tio was more than able to make it more competitive. So the question becomes like, with all the distractions and everything happening in the corner, did all of that compounded interest in that fight being payday pay out in a negative way to where he gave up early? Maybe by like the third, fourth round, he kind of just was like, this ain't my night, and just went through 7, whatever the math is, 8 rounds of just like hell because he just was not in the fight anymore at some point in the fight.
He packed it in, and and with his father saying, what happened to your power, bro? That was desperation. That's all they had to hang their hat on at that point.
Right.
Like, well, shit, at least throw a hard punch at him, So,
right.
So that was just desperate. He didn't know what else to say to him because he couldn't. Because he's sitting there probably seeing a version of his son that he's never seen before, and he knew he packed it in. And at least he knows that if you're going to go out, go out. He's like, basically, let's go out bombing. You're not even bombing on it. If we ain't got nothing else, you're not even coming at him bombing like you're just trying to get him out of here or trying to land a shot. You're not doing anything. He knew he packed it in. And, but that was unfortunate. That the fact is that I think that all led up from Senior, the antics and things from Senior leading up to that fight. And then we don't know, like, hell, we don't know if was he inebriated in the corner and T.O. knew it? Like, Yeah,
you got somebody screaming out, where's the power? And you're smelling Cuervos on his breath. That could throw you off.
So we don't know what was going on in that corner, and and sometimes
that's a legitimate take too, because he did leave the ring. You know what I'm saying? Like he did kind of leave the ring. Like I don't know, man. That's an interesting dynamic. And I think historically speaking, with hindsight, when the years come down the line, people will examine this a little bit closer. You know what I'm saying? Depending on how T.O.'s career ends up. You know what I'm saying? People will examine that dynamic, because that was definitely an example of a father-son dysfunction. And somebody whose career is very promising, somebody who's very talented, who we've seen him at his best be a pound for pound #1 fighter, multiple lineal championships. Like, so, we'll see how that ends out for him though. So that being said, though, the power, T.O. was a powerful fighter at 135. You know what I mean? He was somewhat of a puncher, you know what I'm saying? A boxer puncher. At 140, he wasn't the boxer puncher. He was a slick boxer, but the puncher part of it just wasn't there. He had a one stoppage, I think, at 140 in real time, and everything else kind of went the distance. How do you feel like 147? He's talking about repeating 135 at 147. We didn't see the power at 140. Are you expecting power at 147 from T.O.?
Some people, power just doesn't, ascend along with the weight. We saw that with Adrian Broner. It just the power just didn't ascend with the weight that he put on, and that's also the mental part of it that some people know. Like, I'm in here with bigger guys too, and do I want that return fire? Am I willing to stand in here, even though I might deliver something? In their mind, they know these guys may take my shots differently than what they did at the lower weight, but can I take what they return fire? At this weight class, because some people you feel the difference in the fact that so you don't want to sit there to even try to deliver that shot And sometimes in their mind, they know that I don't have that type of power, knockout power with this weight division. So why would I stand here and take a shot back that I know may buzz me, that may hurt me, you know? And so I think that's what transition, like, and you can figure that out in training. Like when you start bringing bigger guys in and things of that sort, you automatically know. You automatically know, like, I don't have that pop on these guys, but I can feel that kind of like thudding power from them just naturally with the weight that's coming behind it, you know, and things like that. So
let me ask you this though, right? Devin Haney, and not to segue away from that, because you said 50-50, I'm good with that. But as far as the power translating conversation is concerned, Devin Haney is somebody who, I don't know what you've heard, but I always heard that he was this different guy in the gym, the sparring. I've heard of legendary stories of Devin Haney sparring. Like, I've heard him fighting middleweights and, you know what I mean? Like, and really putting hands on people. But we never seen that translate into the ring before, until that night with Brian Norman Jr. We kind of saw, like, okay, he's got this menacing, if you push him, maybe, right? If you push him, he's got this potential menacing side to him, right? This personality disorder, almost like, where did this guy come from? This guy we didn't think this guy really existed. But at 147, just understanding the dynamic of weight cuts and the fact that, you know, he had the weight bully jacket. And I don't need to get in that conversation because people be mad that I bring that up. You know, such thing as weight bullies. He made the weight. Okay, whatever. But we know about the jacket. We understand that there was a jacket, that this was part of his MO, that he was the guy who was bigger than everybody. And he was this guy, you know what I'm saying? This guy who was fighting older people. But at 147, I saw a little light at the end of the tunnel to say, man, is he punching at 147? That being said, how do you look at the 147-pound version of Devin Haney? Is this for you a new chapter in his career? Are you intrigued at all? Like, oh man, let me see. I need to see him again. Like, what did you think?
I told people, like, when this crop of fighters came out, you know, with the Shakur, Devin, Tank, Teo, when these guys, you know, kind of like all came in together and ascended in the pros, I told people, and I said, out of all of them, I said, Teo's that guy in the beginning, because I knew he'd take on all challenges. I said, he's the guy. To me, I said Devin was the most talented out of all of them. And I used to ask Cam, you get a chance to talk to Cam, ask him, I said, as soon as he gets his confidence to know that he belongs, people are in trouble. And I think he's getting to that point because, you know, even, you know, so the weight thing, he's always been dedicated to the point of, like, you know, he's never missed weight. He's never, you know what I'm saying? He's always, even though we know he's a big kid, but the regiment that he's on takes a lot of that mental fortitude and toughness to even do that. And he's been doing it immaculately through his career. Now with this 147, he is a different animal. He's a
man. It seems like it's like a roast, getting right to that point where the meat's falling off bone, and you know, pause if I need to say it for this generation. I'm a grown ass man, but I'll just say it. It looks like the meat falling off the bone for that for Devin right now. Right? It looks like it's coming to that time. We saw when it was a little rough. You know what I mean? We seen him go through his rough patch at 135, bad weight cuts, competitive fight with Lomachenko. We seen him get buzzed by Jorge Linares. We seen him we've seen him show some strength and some pop with Regis Prograis, but he didn't want to put his foot on that gas, speaking towards the confidence that you're talking about. We saw him kind of like have it, but not be confident enough to go get it at that point, right? Like, you got it, bro. You got it, champ. You got Regis hurt, champ. Go ahead and finish him. Nah, I just want to play. I don't want to get hit with nothing crazy. Okay, fine. Then we saw him go through the Ryan Garcia situation and a bad weight cut, by the way, in my opinion. Not no excuses, but I did see the raccoon eyes. I saw him with the sunglasses. I saw those elements, but it is what it is. And then we saw him running around the ring from Jose Ramirez. You know what I'm saying? And that was part of our journey, because it's a journey we're having with Devin. We're watching him grow and develop. And then we seen him have another moment of clarity with Brian Norman Jr., another moment of like, okay, this version of him, how do we get this out of him consistently? What did you think about the Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson conversation as far as the whole catch weight and the whole, what did you think about that? Because I have my own thoughts on it, but I'd like to, know your thoughts on, what did you think about that? Like,
I mean, I commend him for even taking, deciding to say 144 that I'll take that fight when he didn't have to. So I do give him that. I think the young man and his team, they'll fight pretty much anyone. If it makes sense, I think he'll get in there. Like you say, he's one of the ones that I know that has that list, and I think they want to go through that list. And I think they fight, win, lose, or draw. I think he'll just fight. He'll fight these guys as long as they're willing to take the challenge. That he'll fight them. That's just the mindset that that Bill has instilled in him. His team has put in him, and I think that's the mindset that he has. He just wants to fight. He's one of the true ones that I say that wants to fight the toughest challenges. He wants to make these fights and test his greatness, test his merit. And if he loses, he'll come back and fight somebody else that's on that list. Without a problem. So the Shakur end of that, I just like, I think if you want him, you go get him. If you think you can beat him, beat him. I mean, I just don't understand that. You would entertain Connor at a bigger weight.
Mm-hmm.
No catch weight or anything. But he put a clause on that. I think it was 10 pounds, the same thing they put on who's that one? That he fought him in England. Connor and
Chris.
Chris Eubanks. So they had, I think, got a 10-pound rehydration clause. He told him he wanted the same thing. He'd fight him at 154, 10-pound rehydration clause.
Right,
okay.
Right.
So, but I'm saying, but with Devin, has to be at a catch weight. And I'm just like, come on. But I understand that, like he said, Shakur, there's no knocking.
Exactly. I was gonna say he knew. I think that was respect to Devin, right? That's clearly like I'm acknowledging he ain't like everybody else, and I'm not treating him like that's nothing but flowers for Devin. When I see stuff like that happen, that's Devin, and that's one thing I think the space has a hard time dealing with it, because obviously we've seen. I'm sure you've had your criticisms of Devin Haney at points in his career, right? But that doesn't take away from you acknowledging the level of fighter he is. If anything, the criticism coming from the point of, I know the level of fighter he is, so when he's not meeting that standard, I'm going to hold him to it, right? I'm going to hold him to that standard, but in no way are we going to sit here and play, because sometimes I think like that conversation gets interesting because people try to play like, man, well, nah, Devin ain't shit, though. Why don't you fight him? Ain't nobody saying Devin ain't shit. Who told you that? Nah, the way y'all talk about him, it's like, oh, so you mad because we felt now, you know what I mean? And Shakur's never gone out like that. Like, he's always said, like, no. Devin he's not like, he's different. And if I'm going to fight him, I need to have my cards where they need to be. You know what I'm saying? We need to be in a certain environment where it makes sense for both of us. I don't want to give him all the advantages because he will F around and beat me. Let's keep it easy, right? So personally, coach, I didn't want Devin to fight Shakur at a catch weight. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want no more I don't want no more asterisks next to Devin Haney's name. You feel what I'm saying? I don't want no more, you're bigger than him, you're this, you're that. I wanted him to campaign at 147, and I wanted him to let Shakur come up to 147 when he was comfortable, so that I don't want no excuses in those big fights. On the back of that Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia fight, what an asterisk, right? Everybody had an asterisk on that one. It was like the fight might as well had not happened as far as people are concerned, right? It's just like, you didn't fight Ryan Garcia. You fought the artist formerly known as, you know what I'm saying? This guy was 136. He had a rib injury. You know what I mean? He was talking about he couldn't eat. Why even have a fight if we're going to have that kind of conversation at the end of the fight? If that's the kind of conversation we're going to have, then why even have it? So for me, it was like, fight Keyshawn. Fight I want to see the 147-pound Devin Haney go wild. I just saw you put Brian Norman Jr. down. I just saw you do that. I want to see the story continue. It kind of felt like he was going backwards. And I know it's kind of crazy to say that because Shakur can't be going backwards. He's a 4-weight class. You know what I mean? two-time lineal champion. Like, this is not going backwards, right, as far as resume is concerned. But there was a part of me that felt like if he does this catch weight, getting Shakur to come to 147, different conversation, right? But the 144, Shakur's already talking about, I didn't like to talk. I'm a 135 pounder who just did something at 140. It was already written in the sky, right? That if he did lose, it was the smaller guy, the bigger guy. It was the Lomachenko conversation. It was the, the Jojo Diaz conversation. It was the Kambosos conversation. It was these conversations that's just like taking away from what Devin Haney's accomplishing. And I'd just rather not. I'd rather not be having a show here with 5 people on the panel telling me about how Devin didn't really do shit.
And I tell people, and I, even with Shakur, I just like, man, just stick to, who you're willing to fight. Just stick to that, and take your time. Don't even mention other people. Don't play matchmaker with other people. You don't always go up and fight them in case, I'm saying, like, you can't be plugging your people in place because somebody's calling you out. Either you're gonna fight him or not. Don't put your guy in and say, well, beat him first. And then if he does beat him, then you're still not fighting him. And then if he loses, then you're like, that's why I didn't fight you.
Right.
You can't, like hedging your bets and stuff. So I want him to go back down. I want Shakur to just fight where he's comfortable, fight where he's great. And there's some guys in that division that, makes a lot of noise, that makes some good fights. So that's what I'm saying. So don't even entertain, these bigger guys, Conor Ben, Devin Haney and things of that sort. Just go back down. I mean, you stepped up to 140. You made came up and made a fight. Just go back down where you're comfortable. And or
campaign at 140, right? Yeah. I agree with you. I think that the media training, I think that's missing a lot in boxing, by the way. I think a lot of fighters could use it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, some of the favorites from Tank Davis to Shakur Stevenson, Devin doesn't do it. I gotta give him his props. Devin don't talk out of pocket. He don't say nothing he ain't ready to back up. Period. Right. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of these fighters, you know what I'm saying? Teofimo has had his moments, obviously, right? Where his media training could definitely use a little bit of curing, right? You know what I mean? Let's trim those hedges a little bit, get those dead ends out the way, because it's meant you looking like a mess out here sometimes. But Shakur definitely, being on social media the way he is, and in his interviews speaking so, frankly, about being great and greatness and what he's willing to do and challenge himself, and then ultimately make everything so difficult when it comes down to making the fight, making it a very complicated conversation. It's not a good look for him. It is what it is. Let me have one more. I'm gonna have one more final question for you. What do you feel about, at this point? We're 8 months into. We're 8 months into Zuffa boxing, right? They started in January. Going into it, going into the whole watching them come about, what were you, did you have any expectations of them? Did you have any questions about them? And hindsight now, do you see anything interesting about what they're doing right now as far as their growth is concerned? Are they doing well, or could they be doing better? I mean, obviously we know the elephant in the room with them is the Ali Revival Act, and that's a sensitive conversation because I don't know where that thing is going, to be honest. Even with their relationship with the sanctioning bodies, is like, I don't know where that's going. It just seems like they're going to be working with sanctioning bodies, right? That's what it seems like. But as far as going into it, what did you think? Because I know, especially having a young a son, a very promising son in the space, seeing Zuffa, what did you think? Like, okay, Dana's pretty much said no sanctioning bodies, but league, and what is this going to look like, and where are you at now with it?
Well, I knew when he was saying, really forget the sanctioning bodies. That, that's how Dana is. Dana's steadfast on certain things, his product, his business mindset and things of that sort. But I knew that the sanctioning bodies weren't going to do anything but fold. I knew that because look at everybody that they're signing. And after a while, your belts don't mean, because you had some people that were willing to drop your belt. It was just dropping your belt, and so what does that leave you? So you either, get on board or get rolled over. And that's basically how Dana looked at it. Like, get on board or you get rolled over, and okay, your belt's not going to mean anything really. It's going to be harder for you to put on cards for people to sit there and watch, to kind of pay these guys, if you keep these names around to pay them what they're worth, what they want in the fight space. So I knew when it came out that, of course, I knew it was going to be like something that snowball effect. You're going to start kind of small and let things just kind of catch on, because there's still a lot of business stuff going on in the background. A lot of things that are still be set up, because you still had WWE, you still had, what I'm saying? So there's a lot that's in tune, that things are just a lot of cross networking in the background, so it's gonna do nothing but get larger. They're not signing these guys for no reason, they're not just signing them just to have them and putting this money into them and paying these guys great money to come on board. It's a wave of the future, kind of like what MVP is doing.
Yeah,
you see. So these are the two. You got to pay attention to the landscape of what's shaping up here. The Zone is holding on because, of course, getting the outliers as far as like PBC, Top Rank, and things of that sort, to come on board, that platform right there. So they had to band together to kind of like keep up. Zuffa's doing their thing as far as like Zuffa Ring. MVP is carving out their own niche and things of that sort. So, they're getting over into the MMA space and things of that sort. So, it's I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we see MVP tag up with what's the other wrestling league? I'm
trying to remember their name, but I know you're talking like AEW or something like that.
Yeah. I'm trying to watch. I'm sitting here telling you, I wouldn't be surprised. And then now you have I'm trying to tell you what's going to happen. And I just see that model coming along, and they're going to be the two big dogs in it. They're going to be Zuffa and MVP are going to be the two big dogs in this. And then you stop saying from boxing, from the entertainment space. See, they're looking at they're entertainment conglomerates versus just boxing. The boxing is going to be huge, but the entertainment feel of everything that they're linked and they can cross reference to that. Like I said, these boxers, you think you're sitting next, you're out here at one of these WWE events and stuff, and you got the camera on you. You get some time to go in here and get in the ring, and like, who is that? Who is this so and so guy? And it does nothing but help your brand.
Facts.
Build your brand.
And that's where those the Jake Pauls of the world and the Ryan Garcias of the world and that's why Dana's linked up with the whole WWE influence as far as with Nick Khan and TKO and the way they've merged with the UFC. That's the whole sports entertainment. Like Vince McMahon is one of the most brilliant sports entertainment promoters in history. He will go into history books for what he was able to do, because no matter what people want to say about it, WWE is a sports entertainment company. Don't get it twisted, because it's not real or scripted or however anybody want to paint it. This man is a genius. And I think, the TKO involvement with this whole entire Zuffa situation, I think people don't know how interesting that makes it. Having Ryan Garcia hit somebody with a guitar and have that whole moment, I don't think people realize like the impact. They don't remember Floyd knocking out, punching the Big Show. They don't remember Mike Tyson
there. Right? I say this about Vince McMahon and people and the cross reference. I look at that. He's the sports soap opera of his time. Look how long these soap operas have been on TV since we were kids. Our parents were watching. Our grandparents, General Hospital and Guiding Light and all this stuff, man. How long they remain on TV. And he's like a sports soap opera of all time, because it's not going to go anywhere. And they just plug in characters, plug in names, and they become megastars. We've seen some of the greatest, when we grew up, and some of these names that we thought would never be surpassed, and things from Hulk Hogan and things that's
legendary Macho Man. Like I played Macho Man, and so funny because I played a Macho Man clip the other day, right? Because I was making fun of Treese, right? And they flagged me. I'm saying? The WWE flagged me, right? So I had to, I had to fix it and everything like that. We good though, but just to show you how that content is still aging like wine. Like those moments with the Bam Bam Bigelows and the Andre the Giants and the legend, the Triple H's, and they had so many moments in there. They just understand this media space when it comes to sport entertainment. They understand how to navigate that space in a way that I think, unfortunately, the traditional boxing space never really caught on to it, right? The best version of them was probably a Muhammad Ali or Floyd Mayweather, or, you know, people who really took to the media and became like these, you know, characters, right? These
icons and things of that sort. That
right. They don't know that, but I think Zuffa's going to do that with the most unlikely suspects, like people who you did not know. Like I think of Edgar Berlanga, for example. I think he's going to benefit immensely on a Zuffa platform because they're going to let him be a character. They're going to capitalize. They're going to put him in position to win or loss. And that's another thing I think Zuffa is going to do is they're going to show you that it's not about the O. We're going to make stars out of people with losses on their records. You know what I'm saying? People are going to come to the stadium to watch these guys because we're going to make them must-see entertainment. We're going to make them that. And I think that's going to be interesting to watch develop. Like I said to Angelo, we had this conversation before. We're at Zuffa 10. Zuffa 150 is going to be a very interesting conversation.
I'm telling you. You watch. You wait till you see. Watch. They're going to do a huge event that's going to be a joint wrestling and boxing event with big names. Same night. Watch. It's gonna be electric. Or kind of like how they did. Just what did they have? WrestleMania. They turned it into a 2-day event. I think
right.
They do an event. You know, one night is boxing, one night is wrestling. But I think they'll do some West joint in one night. And you have games.
I wouldn't sleep on it at all, Coach. I wouldn't sleep on it at all. I think there's a lot of possibilities, and I think it's an exciting time to be a fighter like Cam, a young fighter in this space, because there's so much that hasn't happened yet, and it just feels like the timing is perfect for a fighter like his caliber to be in this space. You know what I mean? I just feel like there's a lot, especially with this thing going on in between his ears.
Yeah,
and of course you right there also, you got your antennas up and you're reading the space and looking for position, but it's a great time.
Yes, sir.
It's a great time.
Yes, sir.
Great time. Coach, I appreciate you. You know what I mean? It's about that time for me, man. Hey, man, we got to make this happen more often. Our conversations are very interesting. We talk a lot offline, so it's kind of fun to have you here on the one-on-one. We had some people try to come in on the live, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to have this moment with my guy real quick. We're going to build on some boxing.
Let me say something real quick. I want to give a shout out to my sister, Toya Walker, man. That's fighting this cancer battle. You know, so I just want to let her know.
Who? I love her. Say it again.
Toya Walker.
Toya Walker, your sister.
And, yeah, you know, she's fighting this battle with cancer, and you know, just letting her know, like, hey, keep fighting. No matter what, it's gonna be all right. And we got your back. We love you, and appreciate you. So, you know, just keep doing what you're doing. We're here for you, and we'll just let the chips fall where they may.
Yes, yeah. Up in our prayers, man. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate it.
Definitely, Coach Cam Walker, ladies and gentlemen. Coach Cam Walker. Well, I mean, Marcus Walker. Marcus Walker. I go to your son. I told you you're a doppelganger. Your son sounds just like you, man. I was telling him, like, I can't even tell if I were to put y'all if just the thumbnail was to be up and not y'all faces, we wouldn't know who the hell's talking.
Everybody says that. Like, it sounds the same, but hey, it's a good thing.
No, it's a good thing. It's gonna love, Coach. Talk to you soon, Coach.
I appreciate it, brother.
Please. Yeah, great conversation. Hey, guys, man, listen, man, I'm still going to entertain it. Here it is. The link is in the chat. If anybody wants to pop up, I apologize. I know there was some people in the back. That was an interview, so I couldn't pull you up. But there is a link if you want to come up and speak on any of the topics. Obviously, you know, the Devin Haney topic is still here, man, as far as this whole entire DAZN DHP situation. It is what it is, man. Also, the undercard being announced on Ryan Garcia versus Conor Benn. Very interesting points of topic. It's kind of late in the show right now, so I kind of didn't even really do the whole show because I was interviewing Cam and his father. But that was a great conversation, man. Great conversation. A prospect in this space right now with the kind of talent that Cam Walker brings to the space is in a great space right now. I mean, there are a lot of opportunities and a lot of options for a lot of fighters right now. And one way or the other, no matter how you feel about the Zuffa boxing presence, no matter how you feel about what the DAZN is doing, no matter how you feel about Turkey's presence, It stirred the pot, and everybody is fighting for that number one position. And that's the best place for a fan to be in, is in the position we are watching this unfold, and also the best place for a prospect to be in as far as opportunities, activity. And just for just to put it on paper, I think Cam Walker would be a great addition to a Zuffa program, and that's what I'm gonna call it, because no matter where he goes in the future, a platform that's going to offer him that kind of activity, that kind of exposure, that kind of media training, that kind of the facility as far as nutrition, as far as recovery, as far as just all above the board benefits these kind of fighters. That's what it's all about. And so, yeah, man, it's got to be a great time to be a prospect, a promising prospect in this space, man, because back in the day, I would say about 3 to 5 years ago, it's difficult, to say the least. If you don't stand out, you're not going to get the look. Now with Zuffa giving people like Robert Merriweather a platform, Demazian Van Houter a platform, Julian Rodriguez the platform, Jaleel Hackett the platform. These guys in the traditional space, without that right look at that right time, Jaleel right now is literally in his season right now. And you got to give props to a business model like Zuffa Boxing. That Tony Hirsch Jr., shout out to Donnie 956 for sure, man. These guys are getting a great opportunity, and we're getting an opportunity to see a lot of stars. Guys, you got to remember, just because there are a lot of fighters out there who are stars who just didn't get an opportunity to become a star. A lot of fighters who are stars, man, talented. You would love to see them fight. Characters, loves to be in front of a microphone and a camera. Just characters. You're looking at Julian Rodriguez right now. He is loving life. He is entertaining to watch in and outside of the ring. But, being on some undercard that doesn't even get televised, or not getting that opportunity, you don't get to see Julian Hammer Rodriguez be the person he can be. He is a literal star. If you give him an opportunity to, he's going to carry it the right way in front of the camera, and he's going to obviously give you the entertainment inside the ring. But promoters, when you're in a space that, and I use this all the time, but I mean it to my heart, lack of vision. When you're in a space that has a lack of vision, when they see a talent like Julian, the Hammerhand Rodriguez, they don't have enough vision to see how to promote him. You need to be these promoters are taking advantage of fighters who, like a Ryan Garcia. He don't need a promoter to create him. He's creating himself. He just needs a platform, right? He just needs give me the space, I'm going to do it. But there's some fighters, if the promoter doesn't see the possibilities, if they don't have a mechanism, a machine that will put you to the trials and tribulations for us to see that you're a star, they don't have that vision to put that together the right way, then you don't get to see these fighters shine the way we watch these fighters shine, like Edgar Berlanga right now. I'm telling you, even Richardson Hitchens is going to get an opportunity to show the world that I'm a star, right? If you saw the way he treated when he walked out to the ring in Madison Square Garden, he understood the moment. Came out with the Haitian flag, the music, he had a crowd going crazy. I never seen Richardson Hitchens come out to a crowd like that before. I never have. I've seen him try with the music, try to do his thing, but he came out, man. They had to have security around him as he was making his way to the ring. And it was just the small room in Madison Square Garden, right? So it's going to be interesting watching these things play out. Guys, we talked about a lot. I put the link out there. If you guys want to come up. Otherwise, it was about that time for me. This Devin Haney conversation continues as the weeks go by. We'll see how those things develop. Like I told you guys, I'm looking at the zone. That's where my focus is at. What are you guys going to do? Because I think it's going to take the zone's involvement to kind of bring this full circle for DHP. I think the zone is going to have to put some skin, a little bit more skin in the game, right? They put skin in the game, but they're going to have to put a little bit more skin in the game to get it going, because some fighters, and I called it the Haney tax, but I'm just being honest to say that it's not just about giving his money. You guys got to be prepared to give the fighters who you want to see him fight the money as well. You know what I mean? You got to be willing to do that, and we'll see how far they're willing to go. Shout out to my brother H-Town in the building. The H-Town was good, family.
What up, Clay? Man, I've been trying to explain this thing to Haniacs for like 2 weeks, and it's like talking to 2-year-olds and trying to explain quantum physics. You know, I try to put them in the scenario. Say, look, I'm trying to make a fight with you. I'm a star that commands a lot of money, and you're trying to come up. Now you know I got $100 million because I let you know my business. So now you're trying to get at least 5-10 million out of this fight because you could potentially lose. Beating me is not really going to make you the man, but you want to get enough money to take care of your money forever, for your family forever. Now, wouldn't you want me to help you out, even though we're not supposed to help each other out, in order for me to take fights? And they're like, but why'd you got to do that? He don't, you know, he don't. But that doesn't mean you could literally say, well, then he don't really want to make the fight. Because you think Canelo want to give people $10 million? You think Tank, you know, wanted to then Ryan had the money he got? No, nobody wants to give up any money. But if you want to make the most money that you can make, especially in this generation where these guys need each other to make the type of money they want, they're gonna have to give up something. You know, I mean, Ryan can't make the money by himself. Devin can't make the money by himself. Shakur can't make the money by himself. None of them command that Mayweather or Canelo audience. Right. You know, and that's the reason that Mayweather had no problem giving Andre Berto $4 million, because he knows I'm gonna get it back. There's no problem with any of these guys like Canelo or Mayweather or De La Hoya giving people money, or other promoters saying, well, you know what, I'll put up the 5-10 million for my fighter, because they know it was coming back, and it was coming back plus some, you know. So these were real stars, and this was a time where people were really taking home these $100 million deals and really getting that type of money. Now, we got guys that got deals with stipulations. Like any smart businessman, I would have just handed you 150 million, Clay, and say, hey, this is for your podcast. Make whatever episode you want. You know what I mean? No.
And that's the other part of the conversation that people don't understand when that kind of money's being given out there. Everybody always looks at, oh, did you hear about the money he got? But that money comes with contingencies, right? It's like good, but at the same time bad, because you can't just do whatever you want to do now. Now there's a contingency there that we need you to do the things that
bring these guys over here.
Right. Like you made us throw 100 million at you. That's what's up. You came up, but don't run away yet. You still got to fulfill your side of this agreement for it to make sense, because we're not giving you 100 million to just fight any old body. We didn't give you 100 million to fight, you know, to bring up Ernesto Tito Mercado and fight him at 147. That's not why.
Exactly. I mean, I try to tell them, look at like NFL deals. I'm gonna give you 300 million, but you got to give me a 200-yard season as a running back. You know, like rushing, 2,000-yard season rushing. If you don't hit that number, then you know your money's gonna be this or that. You know, it's just people don't want to get it. Their fandom is out of control. They want to say you're hating or making some kind of racial component or something, and you're just like, dude, no, it's just simple logic as a business. You know, and if you ever dealt with money or managed anything, just pretend managing your own money, and you're going to the grocery store and you want steak, and the steak is $50. You know what I mean?
And you flipping out, going, "This ain't worth $50. I ain't paying $50 for this steak." And
exactly.
And the grocery guy's like, "Cool, you ain't eating steak then."
Exactly.
We got chicken over there, and we got hot dogs.
Yeah, go get the bacon. You know, go get the hot dogs. You know, you're gonna eat. You're still gonna eat.
You think I'm finna lower my damn price on this damn steak? You ain't finna eat no steak, bro. That's exactly how it's finna play out. Shout out to Riz Ren. Riz Ren said there's no way in hell Canelo's giving money out of his purse. Most fighters are not doing that unless they like you. That's rarely happening. Okay, I agree with you, right? But at the same time, Canelo, what it comes down to, if Bill ain't willing to give the money, then the zone gotta give the money, or Top Rank gotta give the money. Bottom line is, for the fight to happen, it's got to be the spirit of the conversation. That's
what they don't get, Clay.
Right.
The fight, the demand. And the money's not an issue. They'll put it up. Either come from your promoter or the opposing promoter. They know the money's going to bring the fight's going to bring the money in. It's going to bring the eyes. They're going to get their product out. They're going to get their money back. When someone's not doing that, common sense should tell you, oh, this fight is not worth the money that these guys want.
Right.
You know? And that's not me saying Devin Haney is not worth $10 million.
Right.
You know, it's not worth enough money to satisfy both parties. So it's not happening.
Right? H-Town, it's like people don't understand it's a purse. Right? Devin could be worth the $7, $8, $10 million. But what's left after that? Is that guy going to take that? And if that guy's not going to take that, he needs more. The total purse, let's say, goes over 15 million. Is it worth 15 million? I think Canelo, it's worth 15 million. I think Tank, you know what I'm saying? Yo, pay that guy.
Yeah. These guys, they bring out real people, real stars. You got Lamborghinis in the goddamn parking lot, you know? Like, I mean, we're not okay. These fighters bring out Hellcats. Cool. That ain't a Lamborghini.
Right.
You know, it is what it is. It's not hating, it's just the reality.
So on the back end of that, that's where we get Bill Haney on It Is What It Is offering $1 million to Keyshawn, right? Like that's where that starts to happen, where we're not saying Bill needs to do it, but Bill, for whatever his reason, decided it might be worth it, right? Because at the end of the day, if the zone has says we ain't doing that, so yeah, I look like fighting. Now it's up to Bill and Devin to figure out how much they want the fight at that point. You know, when Jerron Ennis was confronted with the same situation with Stanionis, right? Where it was like, yo, this is what I got, bro. So if we can't make it work with this and we done, and he had to be like, all right, Eddie, yo, shoot that dude an extra $500K, bro, on my check, bro. I don't even get
it's like it's so like simple to understand, but people just refuse. It's like when they're like, well, Canelo and Mayweather, they didn't have to do that because the money was there already. But in these cases, the money's not there. Now, Bill saying I'll shoot you an extra $1 million after the fact could be true, or he's just trying to make Keyshawn look like the dumbest dude ever and make Devin look like the baddest dude that's willing to give up everything to get you in the ring. Now, we don't see the paperwork. We don't know, you know, and we don't know. But people just choose to believe who they want and be like, you know what? Yeah, that dude's an idiot. Yeah, that dude's an idiot. He turned down $4 million. Because now this is a new narrative. He didn't turn down $3 million. It was $4 million. Bill said, you know?
Yeah, right. And that's another conversation because we don't even know what the million was added to. He could have been saying
exactly.
Shout out 444. What's good with you, brother?
Hey, what's good? What's good? H-Town, what's up, Clay? Yeah, I agree with H-Town 1,000. I agree with H-Town 1,000%. The problem is this, and I'm just gonna keep it quick. When you have individuals like Bill Haney communicating things into the space without giving real education, that is the problem. The bottom line is that none of us really understands in depth the business of boxing when it comes to purses and offers and value and what people and there's are offering what and what networks are offering what. So when Bill says he got $100 million deal, we don't the degree of that, right? So it's really, I blame him for providing false information to a space, but not being truly forthcoming and truthful to how it works. You know what I mean? To how. Go ahead.
That's his job, though, right? Like his Bill is. I have an understanding of Bill Haney, and very rarely am I saying he's capping or he's mishandling the situation. I think he's really a strategic monster out here, probably one of the biggest strategic monsters in the boxing space. And what I mean by that is his relationship with the media, his relationship with these platforms, his relationship with the boxing fans is a very well-oiled machine. He understands his leverage and what he's doing in real time. He's not he's doing everything is on purpose. It's move. He's such a chess player, and you can only take notes when you watch Bill move because it's just like he's such.
Well, if you ain't from a city like Houston or Oakland, where you listen to hustlers all the time, You fall for the bullshit. You listen to the hustle because he only tells you half the truth.
Thank you.
He just worded in the way that he talk like a pimp, bro. He talks slick as hell. You know, you can take a horse to the water, but you can't make him drink. That's what Bill be talking like. If you ain't catching on and you just slow, Bill ain't half truth or nothing. Don't be Bill a fucking genius.
Yeah,
Bill is genius. Devin Haney is one of the best boxers in boxing right now. Ben is doing it the best ways because of Bill Haney. Y'all all know his name. He getting ducked by everybody in the boxing world right now. And, hey, what's that kid name? Who was Mr. 140? I don't know what this man on, but listen, you still got Kid Austin getting ready to come 140. You got Abdullah Mason still coming up to 140. He said 140 wide open. 140 closed the hell off. Hey, why you think Shakur ain't standing down with Antoine, the one with the braids is down there? The one with the braids is there. That's a dangerous boy. That's a dangerous man right there. My bad, I had to throw that out. Bill Haney is genius. Bill Haney is genius, bro.
I know Bill Haney is doing a wonderful job. Nobody's ever denied that. You know, and especially getting into somebody like his son that doesn't have an exciting style to be talked about in this space of boxing.
Hold on, bro. What you mean? I hate when people be saying, look, just when somebody do the science of boxing like Shakur or Devin, that style ain't boring. It's boring to the people who don't understand the definition of hit and not get hit. Make them miss and make them pay. The style of the fight is boring because Devin Haney ain't getting beat up. Right? The fight is boring because Shakur Stevenson ain't getting beat up. Devin Haney got beat up in Ryan Garcia. That's the only fight people say he was excited in.
Hold on. Let me respond real quick.
Hold on. Right. So I agree with that take that Good Buddy got, right? But here's the reality. When we're talking about the commercial value, when we're talking about money in, money out, packing stadiums out, when we're talking about spectacles, right? We're talking about boxing on that level. We got to speak to a casual space that is not on point with what you're talking about. They don't know what they're looking at, but do we count them out when we know that the lion's share of a $100 million purse is them, not us? We have to be concerned with what they want and what they need. And if you don't have the vision and the marketing machine behind you to make that commercial value to a casual fan, then what value is there for a company that doesn't have that vision? How do they price that out when they're paying a fighter out? That makes a difference between me giving a fighter $7 to $10 million for a fight or giving them $25 to $50 million for a fight. Because as good as you are, money is not a merit-based system as far as
it is.
No, it's not. It's a merit-based system based on the entertainment value. And if your style of boxing doesn't show up that way for a casual fan, then your payday is going to match it. It's going to ride parallel to it. If I can't pack out the stadium and sell 1 million pay-per-views and do whatever I need to do, sell $100 million worth of t-shirts, whatever it is, to make it make sense, how can I make it make sense to give you 50 million? What makes Canelo is not that he's the best boxer in the world. It's because he's one of the most exciting boxers in the world. Not that he's the most sweet science and he slips in, he does all these things. For me and you, and for the people on this panel, and the lion's share of the people inside that chat, we see those intangibles, and that becomes entertaining.
Yeah, we know what a pull counter is. I'm not sitting at the bar explaining to people what a pull counter is, bro.
When there's 70,000 people in the building, Good Buddy, it's not 70,000 good buddies in the building. Don't get it twisted.
Listen, I want to say something. Can I say something?
Good buddies and 65,000. Yo, I just want to see somebody get knocked out. I don't give a fuck. That's who's in the building.
Can I say something? I think, look, I do a lot of I used to do a lot of stand-up comedy stuff, and they used to tell me all the time that the average person is at an 8th grade level. Mayweather sold his whole career on being the richest fighter in the world. The only thing that hurts Devin Haney is getting his ass beat by Ryan Garcia. I don't think people would care whether or not, if they knew he's a $100 million fighter, they gonna watch no matter what. But the fact that Devin got his ass beat by Ryan Garcia, people be like, well, is he really the best? Is he really worth that? That's when the question starts. If he would have beat Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney probably, Shakur Stevenson selling like a motherfucker right now. Shakur Stevenson selling like a motherfucker right now.
Buddy, the only reason I don't agree with the Mayweather thing is because Mayweather had his pretty boy, and that's when he built the base of his fandom, and that's when everybody fell in love with him. Coming from the Olympics, knowing he got robbed, and everybody was like, "Damn, this kid got robbed." See, I'm almost 50 years old, so I remember these days, So I can't compare these guys to Floyd because Floyd was on his grind, putting people away, hurting people, and even when he became money, he was entertaining in the ring. He was in there throwing combinations. You know, yeah, he might grab here and there and work on the back foot, but he'd make you pay every time you missed. Like these guys don't make you pay. These guys grab, jab, grab, jab, grab, jab. Or they're on the back foot the whole fight, and they don't want to engage. They don't want to fight. They just want to win. You know what I'm saying? So and they go with that.
Fact. Let's add to that too as well, right? Let's say this, right? Like Shakur says he's not worried about fans. You know, he does what he does inside the ring. That's cool. I think as a boxer, that's how he should be focused, because he's focused on the legacy. You ain't gonna beat me because I gave you an open window to beat me. You're gonna beat me because you're better than me. I'm cool with that. You need the right promoter who can see what's great in you and build something around you marketing wise that highlights the greatness in you. When you have a traditional space that only knows how to highlight knockouts, that only knows how to highlight those kind of fighters, that's a limited space that a Devin Haney and a Shakur Stevenson and, you know, these boxers are going to have a hard, Teofimo Lopez, they're going to have a hard time shining in those spaces because their promoters don't know what to do with them. Bob Arum don't know what to do with T.O. That's why T.O. ain't never become a big star the way he wanted to become a big star. That's why he started becoming desperate and doing it.
Cambosis hurt that, bro. Cambosis hurt that. Cambosis hurt that.
Cambosis hurt that, but look, I'm going to show you something, right? You could say Cambosis hurt that, but that's only because we're in a space where somebody can't lose, right? So in the UFC, their biggest stars take L's all the time. The L
I'm
don't
not
make
saying
a difference.
Play, but it's not that he lost. It's he lost to what's his name from Australia. That dude was a bum.
Okay, but things happen.
What's his name? Cambosis?
Brother, things happen. Things happen. You should be a good promoter. That's your name. That's the title of your name. That's what they call you. If you're good buddy, the promoter, then you know that there's an art to this thing and you know how to resurrect. You know how to promote it right. You know how to put your fighter in position. You know how to bring it back. If you don't know how to bring it back, then you're not a good promoter. You're just a leech, right? You're just there to capitalize off of a star who's built himself. Ryan Garcia had to build himself back up off of a loss from Team Davis. He had to build himself back up off of a loss off of Rolly Romero, right? But he's in the WWE smacking people with guitars, doing his thing, like getting ready to be part of it, still headlining, still getting the big money. If you're really good at your job, then you're going to do your job. And when you do your job, your fighter ain't going to be scared to lose no more. You know what I mean? And he's going to fight differently because he's going to know his career don't end off the back of one L. And he starts running around the ring scared to lose instead of fighting a fight. There's a relationship between promotion and the boxing, the fighters, that has been weird and dysfunctional for years, where we're looking at an Oscar De La Hoya who don't know what to do with a fighter who loses. He don't know what to do with Ryan Garcia, right? If Floyd Schofield Jr. loses right now, all he's gonna do is use it as leverage on Floyd Schofield Jr. You lost. Now you got to get paid nothing. We got to build you. You have to get. He's gonna use it. He's gonna screw that boy over. He's gonna.
Hold up, Clay. That felt racial, Clay. That felt racial, Clay. Hold up, man.
Hey, what happens? What happens to T.O. if he loses to Rolly? Because I'm picking Rolly.
Man, nothing, man. He's already lost, and whoever likes Teal. You know, people hate him. But let's go back to that Cambosis fight and why Teal even took that fight. People forget that he had under $500,000 in the bank. You think a guy that just beat a top 3 pound-for-pound fighter, if he was being promoted correctly, would have had under $500,000 in the bank? No, man. He was broke. I mean, broke for his consensus, not for the normal people.
Devin took a cut like that when he fought Gare. When you fight the best, in order to get your name out there, you have to take that low-ass pay cut at first.
No. That's not what I'm saying, dude. He already had beat Loma. Teal had beat Loma. You think he was being promoted correctly after he would have had that fight? There should have been no purse bids or nothing. Teal should have been the hottest guy in the game. He wasn't.
Fight.
He had a.
It was okay. Nobody knew who he was yet.
Look, Loma had been all over ESPN. Everybody knew Loma. That was Lomachenko. What are we talking about? He beat Lomachenko.
It was his 16th fight. It was his 16th fight. All he was known was for the Heisman Trophy by the average boxing fan. But to casuals, he fought Lomo. He got this big ass. It's like Buster Douglas didn't blow up after beating Mike Tyson. We all knew who the fuck he was. What did he do after? He got knocked out.
Yeah, Holyfield.
Yeah, but you get it. That's what I'm saying. But the financial stance in that fight was he had 3 camps, paid for 3 different camps. He had gone all the way. He had to take that goddamn fight. If he didn't take the fight, the guy was pretty much going to be broke. You know, so I mean, even if
don't talk about Bob Arum, he the godfather of boxing. Leave Bob Arum's name out of it. Don't talk about Bob. He's 90 years old. Don't let do that. What you talking about?
No, I agree with you. I think at 90 plus years old, you just don't say nothing bad about Bob, man. Let Bob live out his golden years, man. He got a few left. We ain't gonna do that. We ain't gonna disparage him. But listen, I just call it the traditional space. I just say this: you need vision, and I always salute Dana when he said that because I've always felt like that. I've been saying this for years before Dana. The vision ain't there, man. These promoters have been just getting fat out here. You know what I'm saying? They've been getting fat out here with these paywalls, with these pay-per-views, and they don't have to do no work. They just put all of the business on the back of 1 or 2 or 3 fighters in their stable, right?
Big fact. Fuck that shit. Big fact.
They put it on the back of a Canelo. They put it on the back of a Ryan. They put it on the back of a Tank, and they on the back of an Errol, right? And they don't care about nobody else, and they don't build up stars. And now you've limited the boxing fans because you put this paywall up to where the casuals couldn't come into the space. And then you combine that with those fighters are gone. And we can tell, we can call it the right way now because now that Tank is in the middle of his life journey where he's not able to be out there no more. Now that Errol is retired, now that Terrence is retired, now that these guys have look how hard it is for them to make stars. David Benavidez should be a spectacle fighter. He's not. They're talking about putting him in the ring with a Seslak, whatever his name is. They can't build up the fight. When he got the opportunity, he did that performance on David Morrell. That was time for the PBC and the Zone to be like, we about to make this dude a star. They couldn't even pull off a Caleb Smith fight for him. He had to go fight Anthony Yardy in Riyadh season. That man wanted to fight in Vegas in the biggest shows. Samson Leakowitz, where you at? You guys forgot the assignment. You just started to take advantage and get paydays off of fighters who are self-made. That's why I hold Oscar De La Hoya accountable. When people say, well, Oscar did this and Oscar did that. Bro, I'm sorry. Canelo was going to be Canelo with or without Oscar. He's a fucking star. That's why he left Oscar. He realized that. When he realized, and he's like, bro, I don't need you, bro.
Man, he left Oscar, just got bigger.
He got up out of there. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with Ryan Garcia.
Oscar was a big part of that. Oscar was a big part of that.
You ask those fighters, if Oscar's, then do it again, Oscar. Who's the next guy you're going to do it? Do it again. Show me. Because Ryan Garcia,
he got Ryan.
Ryan been doing all the social media work by himself. Yeah. They didn't want him on social media. You got to remember, Oscar didn't want him on that shit.
If anything, Oscar has tried to get in front of everything Ryan has done that has catapulted him up, right? The Gervonta Tank Davis made him a star. He didn't want that to happen. The Devin Haney fight, he didn't want that to happen. You know what I'm saying?
No, he don't want this Conor Ben fight.
Hey, that blew him up too. The Devin Haney thing blew him up.
The social media, you're doing too much. That blew him up.
But I mean, look at Shakur too, man. Shakur.
That's blowing him up.
If Shakur was promoted correctly, bro, look at all the shit Shakur, silver medalist. The kid's got the dimples. He's got the girls liking him. He had the Romeo and Juliet story when he was a kid, you know, in boxing. He had all these things that he could have built up. The kid has Latino roots. We didn't find that shit out till he was already a goddamn, you know, established fighter. If a real promoter, they would have worked with that. They're like, oh, your dad's Puerto Rican? Oh, we gotta start selling that shit. We need to promote that shit. We need to start getting you in some Spanish classes. We need to start getting you over here on Telemundo.
He's black. He don't know his daddy.
Now, whatever you want to call it, brother. But hey, if you want,
it is what it is, right? But by the way, guys, we about to go, man. I gotta get ready to go, man.
Hey, wait. Say John Pataya. Say John Pataya.
John Pataya.
Thank you. Because you mentioned David Benavidez. Don't say David without saying John Pataya. He got to fight. He just ain't do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but you know, that's the difference. That's the difference in making these stars. And I think we've missed out on a lot of stars because of this space and the way it is. You know what I'm saying? And even with the Schofield Jr. conversation, you know what I mean? His father's had to be so active on social media, and as much as his father's annoyed me from time to time, I gotta tip my hat to him because he ain't getting. If he didn't do what he did, who would have promoted Junior? Oscar should have been pushing Junior in so many different ways, but his father had to literally petition the WBA.
Man, we gotta look at Bernard Hopkins on this shit too, Clay. Bernard Hopkins ain't do no goddamn promotion, bro.
Kid Austin Daddy some props, because people don't give that man enough props. They just calling him gay and weird and aunties and shit, and he out here doing his thing.
Yeah, and he had to. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, as much as he's annoyed me from time to time, you know what I'm saying, with certain things, I understand, man, because
hey, I gotta remember, Joanna Man was a popular movie. It is what it is.
That being said,
y'all youngsters, look that up, youngsters. Yo, laugh.
Hold on a second. 444, I want to give him because I know he's up here being quiet and
no, you're good. You guys are cooking. I'm listening. I'll fall back.
It's about that time for me, guys. Man, I got
Saturday. Where's the Shields fight Saturday against K Scott?
I ain't gonna.
Hey, salute the GWOAT, man. Hey, salute the GWOAT.
But I'm looking forward to see the whole card got some. I want to see Tito Mercado get some better matchups. I want to see him get matched up. So shout out to who he's getting ready to fight. I want to see him go up. I want to see Troy Isley, the number 4 guy on the Ring Magazine rankings for 160. I want to see him match up. I want to see these guys matched up, man. It is what it is. But listen, man, I'll be watching the fight this weekend. I don't think I'm calling it. I'm not gonna lie to you. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll call it, man. I don't know.
Before I get out here, Clay, I just want to say one thing. If you don't support the GWOAT, then you don't support good side pieces. You know, so it is what it is. I'm out. A-Town, baby.
Shout out to the side pieces, man. It's at ATP, man. You already know what it is. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Until the next one at this point.
I got her right.
Gotta aim for the top like hello. Yeah, I can never doubt myself, I know better. All of you critics be acting like you know better. Blowing the smoke, but I know when the dust settles that I'm in my element. It's everything that was never to pain. All of those dark nights I got then, breaking my back to make it out, got me feeling like pain. I ain't never need your help, I know you wishing me well. A penny for your thoughts, but seeing no change. I snap for the sun like Diddy. The riches got a mad ass son, I'm like Billy. I ain't never switch up, whole team with me. But known for my city like OAGZ. Set the pace as long as you finish. Consumers find a way inside your business. Babble they try to dabble in it and they hate the fact that they may have to witness. You try to aim for the top like this and you're in your element with a fire like this. And they hoping you fall and they praying you miss. But it's all in the risk, I got you with the switch, you know. I'm in the zone. Give me the throne. One shot, that's all that you got. That's all that I know. Foot on the gas. 155 on the road.